Welcome to Flat Earth Debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere, and there's also a Ko-Fi, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patrons, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So, a massive shout of thanks and appreciation to Thomas van der Zander, Cannabear, Gary Hughes, Measured Flat, Chris Wouters, Mr. Amish, Sensual Goat, Mitch Kennedy, Rod, The Name's Burley, Todd Wazzle, Jason Hornsby, Christoph Fournier, That's Earth Travolta, J Melds 24, Yu Unamento, Iron 26, Endless, Goldie McKinnon, Retro Bill, Level Playing Poem, Michael Kahn, John Kays, Patrick Gunnels, Banter, Mel B Styles, Hairy Blade, Mobile Max 777, Rob W, Dale West Watson, Unbelievable Productions, Blue Ridge Ranger, Abraham Mohammed, Skeptic 936, Life is Short, Texas Mike, Chow Young Cat, David Wayne Foster, and Dank. So another massive thank you to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. Now I will hand over to whoever is in Discord and Google so you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for today's live show.
And Nathan, you there?
Yes? How are things?
Hello?
Things are good. I just need one little request. And Master B, you have to enable me as a moderator there.
How do I do that?
Good morning.
Morning.
What's that?
How do I do that?
Well, didn't you create the room?
Yeah?
All right, well, I don't know. But I'll post last and...
You're not posting there? There you go. You said test. Anyway, I'll have a look. Let me know afterwards and I'll see what I can do.
What's up, y'all? What's up, Neil?
Bye.
Hey, Wences. Sorry, it's so early.
It is. Gone 1 o'clock in the afternoon here.
18 for me on the East Coast.
It's
Man, this show's
2
been...
p.m. there in Norway.
Hold on, Eli.
Sorry.
We actually stepped on a conversation that was taking place. You are... Is it opinion?
Oh yes, I'm just saying what the time is there in Norway. 2 p.m.
Nice. How's the weather out there at this time of year?
Really? Seriously?
What?
I don't know how close to 40 you are, but you're in your 30s or 40s, right? You've spent the whole world living on a spinning ball flying through a sky vacuum. We start off, we're here to chit-chat and warm up, and you ask how the weather is.
What?
I mean, come on.
It's rapport building. Look, it's an occupational, like, I don't know.
I reckon there's people like 200 or 300 years ago that were doing similar thing, but against the church for whatever oppressive reason. But they just weren't heard. I don't mean the ones that we can easily find documented. I'm just wondering if history hasn't just repeated itself for maybe the last 100 years. Maybe it's been repeating itself for the last 300 years.
I would think so, because why not? I mean, the same powers from 500 years ago are the same ones from now. I don't see them ever changing their playbook, so
Right.
why would, you know?
That's exactly my logic. Yes, exactly.
But Rome fell.
Did it?
No, obviously not.
Just the modern day church.
pretty much.
Yeah, so I have good news.
Is it good news that I need to listen to? Because I could really do with going and making a cup of coffee. That's normally what I do in this pre-show bit while you guys are chit-chatting.
No, it's really just for me, my own personal life.
Ah, then who cares? I'll go make a coffee. No, I'm only kidding. Go on, tell me your good news, and then I'll go and make a coffee.
It's fair enough because I literally was gonna make a cup of coffee so I could sit outside in the sun and talk to you guys too. So I get it. But no, last night, my girlfriend and I, we were on a walk. Just talking about some deep stuff. We've been together for we've known each other for 7 months. Been together since February, and I was wondering, because matter of fact, I think I was talking to you guys when I was like, oh man, I don't know when I'm going to tell my girl that the earth is flat. And y'all were like, why would you? If it doesn't come up, like, why would you feel like you have to, right? But yesterday, first of all, there was a point where her children were like, going back and forth, and the daughter goes, "Shut up, you flat earther." And then the boy doesn't really like rebuttal. I'm like, what? So I get to give him a high five, and I was like, that's right, that's right. And then everybody looked at me, was like, no, wait, you're a flat earther. She was like, Mom, Mom, break up with him immediately. But they were all joking. But it kind of didn't come up after that or at all. Um, so yesterday, when my girl and I were having a conversation, I decided, you know, just to tell her, hey, you know what? So today, a very important thing happened for me, and it didn't happen yesterday. Obviously, Adam put together, the Ball Busters intro. It was the first time that I had seen it yesterday, and I cried because I'm like, man, like I'm a part of something. We're all a part of something really, really special. I mean, Neil deGrasse Tyson and these guys, like they're not stepping to the drum of ether. Like they're stepping to the drum of what we're saying on this show. That's big, man. So Neil deGrasse Tyson pops up right now. It's so hilarious. So it's like, I told her, and she actually listened, which is not surprising because she always listens to me. And it was dope.
Yeah,
It was
that's
really
dope.
good.
Awesome.
So it's another beautiful day, man. I've had a really good week.
I understand. I would too. I mean, I have a good week anyways, but yeah.
What was his good news?
Thank you.
What was your good news?
That I got to have a conversation with my girlfriend yesterday. I was lamenting that I was very proud of myself and us for like truly, truly making the rest of the internet and any other informational source dance to the beat of our drum. For God's sakes, you have flatearth.ws, which is like some anti-flat earth website. Everything on there is some sort of weird, like terrible addressal of something that we said, kind of, sort of, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
There was me thinking pregnancy, marriage. No, nothing.
No. Well, yeah, actually, yes, actually, those comments, we did have talks about that as well. But yeah, I told her that I'd seen that I was on the logo for a show or a panel that I've been on for 7 years? It's been a while, huh?
Yeah, bloody
Like,
hell. And isn't it always tedious with you, eh?
what? Yes, I'm a Gemini, so that's really what it is. I drag out everything.
I'm a Gemini too.
Hey, let's go, dude. That's
Nah,
the
May 23rd.
June 9th.
Eli, you were the one that gave me the info to get on. So how long were you on G Plus before I came aboard?
I want to say it was like somewhere January, February.
All right, so then because I started when COVID started, so that's
Oh,
how you
that
could
was
pretty
right
much
after.
figure out, how long you've been on the panel.
Dang, but that was 2020. Huh? Oh, right, but I was listening to the show way before that. Right. It was just the first time we got on. Okay. Mm-hmm.
We're doing astrology in here.
Astrology is pseudoscience.
Well, astrology originally
Yeah.
was the study of the stars, which is what celestial navigation is.
Yeah, if you
I mean, that seems like a
if you put it into an etymological
Fact,
fallacy, it used to be that. Sorry, I'm cutting you off. Go ahead.
Oh, I feel you. Yeah, that's
no, I was cutting you off too, so I was stuck in my mind. Sorry.
Oh, we didn't actually hear what you said. No need to apologise. What did you actually say?
Yeah, I mean, this is like a loaded term. It's like two things in one with astrology, I suppose.
Yeah, it's been poisoned. Back in the day, it's just star logic, if you will, studying the paths and patterns of the stars. But now it's, you will meet a tall, dark stranger.
Yes,
Exactly.
it's so silly. Maybe not even. You know what? I mean, people find synchronicities to be very useful, and who am I to judge? The stranger things have happened. I mean, this place is more than just the physical. So,
Yeah, that might be, but people do ascribe cause and effect relationships to these things, don't they?
absolutely.
Right. And it's garbage. Unproven garbage. No offense to any astrologers out there who like talking about where the planes of our stars intersect and what that might mean. I just think it's nonsense. Doesn't mean anything.
I agree.
Uh.
I don't like mysticism. That's why I'm atheist.
What month is it there, Mr. Atheist?
Oh yeah, it's June. I don't like the
June.
month.
Yeah, you know where June was derived from?
No. Where was June derived from?
Nowhere. June? I don't know what you mean by that.
Tell us.
Well, the
Matthias.
Gregorian calendar has I was going to say the Gregorian calendar has months derived from Greek, Roman, and even Germanic gods and goddesses.
That doesn't mean he ascribes
I'm just
himself to
wondering
any
how
of
you
those
have.
goddesses or gods, does it? Just because he uses the word June.
I'm just wondering. Right. I'm just wondering how anybody can call themselves an atheist whenever they use these gods and goddesses on a daily basis.
Sure, but
What else should I call them?
if I ascribe something
You're obviously
arbitrary
acknowledging
to a measuring system, for instance, Matthias. So if I start calling the I don't know, invent a new system that's not metric or imperial, and each of the sections that we're going to divide up this arbitrary system into, I give the names of gods. You with me so far? And then you come along and pull out a tape measure and just arbitrarily, certain segmented sections of this arbitrary measuring system have got the names of gods.
There's the sound.
Yeah,
Hello.
hey, Craig. So we've got arbitrary naming structure that uses gods as names, and you drag out a tape measure and it's got those names.
Hang on.
Hold on 1 second, Craig. Does that mean that the person who uses that tape measure is suddenly not an atheist because they've uttered the words of those gods in the arbitrary measuring system, Matthias?
Yeah, that seems like a false equivalence to me because you're trying to compare something measurable, like a tape measure, to a calendar.
Something measurable, like with the sun and the stars.
What is it?
Measurable. It's not a false equivalence. If I say in the same way you can measure the elapse of time with a clock and you can measure the length of a table with a tape measure, both are measurements, this is no different. And I'm saying if you give the measuring structure arbitrary names that are of gods, as is the case with the calendar, you don't then say that the person who's using those arbitrary ascribed names the tarnish of being that particular worshipper. You can't do that.
Well, I'm saying it is a false equivalence because a tape measure doesn't change. However, time does. We add a day every 4 years, so I mean that's got to tell you something. That tells me that time is changing. A
No,
tape measure doesn't change, does it, Nathan?
No. Yeah, okay, fine. What you're saying is time is conceptual. And in terms of the way that we've divided up these sections, they don't match the reality. Yeah, I'll go with you on that. And we've got to fiddle with it, gerrymander it, whatever you want to call it, to make it kind of skew to fit with an alteration for leap years. Okay, I'll buy that. Yeah, it's not very accurate. It's because it's working off two different systems, isn't it? Sun and moon. Anyway, my point is you're saying he's not an atheist because he uses the month system. And I say, nah.
I'm saying that anyone that adheres and has the Gregorian calendar as their basis for their basis for time, whenever they say, "Oh, this month is June," la da 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 da, you know, I don't. And okay, well, okay, better example, January 1st. Everybody celebrates January 1st as a new year because we've been told to do that. That's what everybody believes and accepts.
Calendars. I was watching this video of a guy. I'm talking to a Muslim, and he was.
Well, thank you for that, Neil.
I'm sorry, I didn't know it was off mute.
Yeah, you were talking about the new year being in January, which is nonsense. It's in the middle of winter. Yeah, I agree.
Right.
Yeah, but the original New Year was April 1st. April Fool.
Yeah, that's what April Fools is.
Yeah, I'll get to that here in a minute. Right. Yeah, I'll get to that here in a minute. But the reason why people celebrate January 1st as the New Year, January is derived from, I think, the Greek god Janus, which represented new beginnings and transitions.
Ooh, how religious of us.
Yeah. It's very, the Gregorian calendar system is very religious. People are celebrating a fraudulent New Year just because they're told to, and they don't want to do the research behind January itself.
I think they've done.
Do you
They've turned rituals
change my calendar
into.
Hold on,
for
both of you started at
everything?
the same time. Yeah, UR is the guy having the conversation though, Eli. So can you have him and then you?
Sure.
Well, to me,
Hold on, Matthias. UR guy, you can go ahead.
I was going to say, for me,
Matthias, for God's sake, come on! I'm trying to take control.
I thought you wanted me to talk.
Go ahead, UR
I
guy.
thought you wanted me to talk.
Matthias will not yield. Right, so shit show or nothing from Matthias is decided.
I literally thought you said go, Matthias.
No, UR guy. UR opinion. The guy talking to you.
It's all right. My name is you are not your opinion, so not sign. And yeah, I was saying, do you expect me to use a different calendar system for everything when everyone else is using the Gregorian calendar?
I'm not.
All right,
I,
so
that's not
what's
what
the
I expect
problem?
you. That's also not what I expect you to do. I expect the truth seeker to do the research on what they're honoring and celebrating, rather than blindly following mainstream narratives without doing the
I
research.
haven't,
That's what I expect.
all right, I haven't celebrated the New Year's in like 3 years, I think.
Congrats.
Don't miss the
Me
point
either.
and make the conversation like watered down. The point is, it's interesting that January, uh, what'd you say, Janus or whatever? Which
Janus.
January is the new year. That's when we celebrate the new year. And the name of January originally, the god of New Year's. Like, I mean, come on, like that's the point. That's the hook. That's it. We're not expecting you to do shit, but go, huh, that's weird. Unless you don't think it's weird, then huh, whatevs. Right?
So I have to ask him now, why did you stop celebrating the new year?
Yeah, I don't celebrate things I don't find much meaning in.
Right.
So I was
Good
gonna
answer.
say that
Good answer.
Okay.
I was gonna
Good,
say
good
that
answer is what I said. That's a good answer, right? I don't celebrate New Year.
yeah.
It holds very little meaning.
Yeah, I
Right.
said thank you. Maybe a little unclear.
Yeah,
It's
you
more
are.
meaningful for the Chinese New Year, you know what I'm saying? They got dragons and stuff.
Well, that's something.
Does that make it meaningful?
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's interesting, because people are kind of like hoodwinked into thinking they're not religious, but it's like every other month for these holidays, we make it fun, but it's really a ritual.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's kind
makes
of my whole.
sense.
Which I mean, you could obviously you look at it as harmless and see it as harmless, but when you look back to other times and see them celebrating the same, there's no different. But we look to them as, oh, look at how religious and insane they are. They're traditionalists, and da, 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 da. We do the same thing, which is again what goes back to Nathan's point, that I mean, how long have we really been repeating the last 100 years?
Yeah, at least a couple of times, but maybe more. Fascinating stuff. Obviously, it's very difficult to study because everything that's not worthy of the narrative gets memory hold, and everything that needs to be propped up or bullshitted about gets bullshitted about and put into the history books.
Makes sense. Yeah.
I think that's our fate. Do you think we'll just be memory hold?
Would you say our fate? Or
Yeah,
our
as
fate?
in currently, YouTube is the be all and end all. It's the biggest platform, but that's not to say that we won't just be memory hold in 10 years.
No, in 50 years, there'll be statues of you,
By that
Nathan.
you mean yeah, I mean, I like alternative platforms like LBRY, very good platform. The decentralized. So, yeah.
We'll make sure they're clothed.
But I suppose if you've got a new media for distributing information, regardless of what it is, you kind of have to let out a little bit of information that you want to protect the system from to see how it infiltrates the system so you can put a stop to it.
Hmm.
Other than a black hole for money to disappear into for NASA, what is the purpose? I know this is something that we decry talking about, but why bother carrying on? If it just takes a couple of generations for people to forget that they were misled, why bother keep propping it up to such a massive extent? What's the purpose of it? Just stopping us going out towards the horizon and finding new territory, do you think?
Because it's worked.
Maybe.
Because it's been successful.
It's been so successful. Yeah, that's it.
That's true.
What's been so successful?
The heliocentric control structure works really well.
Oh, I was taking my kid to school, and I was breaking down celestial navigation to him, and the itty bitty triangle, like QE says, just blows the whole thing out of the water. I think he's understanding it.
Does it not make more sense that there could potentially be more undeveloped countries that are currently undiscovered? And like with past history, when they get discovered, all they end up doing is becoming either a drain on your resources or they develop and then threaten you.
You saying more?
Well, I'm saying that we talk about it in the we can show this to be absolutely the case based on even the propagandized history. The world did expand in the way we describe, flat. So with that being the case, you then get a break in that narrative expansion, and then you have the ball. So you go, well, does it not logically follow that given we have subsequently seen third world, now known as developing countries, turning into developed nations that then compete with the Western world, and if you can potentially gather all of the nations together and say, let's just put a boundary, metaphorical or otherwise, around what we already have, and then we won't have any issue dealing with undeveloped nations that are discovered in the future, like we've had to deal with up until now. Up until now being whatever line you want to draw, 1800.
Yeah, that makes sense. That does. What do we know, Nathan? We can only know what we know. Everything else, we're told it's so. But how can we validate anything? How do we know that there's not more, like you say, underdeveloped countries that they just want to keep over? We don't know, right?
No, we don't know, but we do know what we have experienced in our recent history that cannot be propagandized away. You know, the expansion of the territories. We do know that.
Right. Yeah, I live in one called America.
Sure, but with a finite amount of resources, you can have an economy that's structured around that. Whereas if you've got ever-expanding territories and an infinite, so to speak, amount of expandable resources that you can pull from, then that messes up your already in place control structures like finance. So that's very undesirable.
I have no objection.
Go ahead.
No objection to that. Infinity is never actual, it's only a potential. So yeah, I mean, it could expand, but it's still finite and scarce in a sense. So you can't have infinite resources. That's impossible.
Okay, fine. I'll eat that. No worries. It's just a bad phraseology. What I mean by that is, if you've got one hole to dig in, yeah, then that's a finite amount of resources. You've got the potential,
Right,
as you put it, for other holes to dig in beyond the one you've already got, then that's what I mean by infinite. It's no longer the finite amount that you had with one hole. That's all I mean by that. I don't mean that there's going to be a never-ending supply as we expand outwards. I have no desire to defend that as a position either. But I'm just saying to contrast a thoroughly finite amount of resources that an economy is based on currently, with the amount of territory and the amount of mineable land and all the rest of it, versus, well, at a point someone will have, let's say, budgeted, and then you have an expansion of territory, and suddenly that throws a cog in the spanners, doesn't it?
Right. It will definitely shake up some economic stuff.
Right.
And also, a side note, time is also, in a sense, scarce. So if you have a lot of land and you can make a lot of holes, as you said, you still have your standing room. You have to move from place A to place B, and that takes time, and you have a limited amount of time on Earth.
Right. So therefore, our arbitrary systems of what is wealth and therefore what is finances could potentially be put at risk if you have continual expansion of territories and resources. So the people who are, as you say, presumably acutely aware that they have a finite amount of time here, want to retain the structures that are in place that dictate what is wealth, literally what is wealth, and what is our financial structures. So, the people who control those, it's in their best interests to keep the system rolling along as it has been. But by contrast, that makes us a threat to that. Now,
That's why I think people like Amelia Earhart, somebody that goes out and tries to discover things, they disappear.
Yeah, maybe. It's fun to speculate.
I don't think free trade and capitalism will go away if there's a lot more resources to extract. I think it's just going to be better, more economic freedom and such. So more capitalism.
On the contrary,
No, but they control
hold on. No, you're right. That's who's it better for? Us. If you have another competing market that just suddenly opens up, and they can potentially compete with you, what does that do? Increases competition, drives down prices, all bad things for the person who's already got that business running nicely. So it's good for us, right?
It's bad for the government that they want the monopolies. They don't want competition. That's why they have monopoly of power, monopoly of everything, essentially. Monopoly of violence.
Right.
Monopoly of courts.
Exactly,
yeah. You're a libertarian, I think.
So you look at who benefits, don't you? Or who may not benefit if you speculate about the expansion of territories that we witnessed to a point and then the globe. So, it doesn't take much to extrapolate that out without people pointing and going, oh, that's absolutely ludicrous that you could assume such things. No, I'm basing it on previous history, that we are led to believe in even the propagandized rhetoric that we get to read. So, given that's the rhetoric, I'll go, well, surely that would have continued. And now we know that we were deceived into believing that there was a territory that would come about itself if you went around it. Well, that isn't the case. So then, obviously, the next step is to logically speculate, well, what else is there then if we expanded out towards the horizon? If we just kept doing that, what would happen?
Right.
Nathan.
Yeah, and who would the people? That's the last point, and then yes, Neil. Who would be the people that would do that? Right, the people with less to lose. You know what I mean? So it's those that you've got to keep where they are, right? So the people who would benefit would also be the people who would potentially go out and discover these things. So you need to very tightly control who's potentially going to be out there discovering things. Get it very much under tight control.
Yeah.
In 2019, hold on. In 2019, you cannot deny that all countries are working together with that whole lockdown.
Agreed. And also
They're
see it
all
in
working
Antarctic.
together. We don't know what's out there.
Right. Yeah, they want things depressing. They want to crush adventure spirit. I'm actually going to become a sailor. Not too long. I'm going to take sailor school after summer. That's going to be nice. So maybe won't do the Jarl Andhoy type voyage yet. Maybe after I've sailed the world a bit before that, but maybe I'll try doing that just for fun. I mean, and to explore and maybe report back if I get the chance.
Are you
I'm
gonna
also
tell
from the
your
same
instructor
country.
that Earth is flat?
Sorry.
Are you gonna tell your instructor as you go to this sailing school that, hey, you know we're on a flat Earth?
I'm not going that way usually. I mean, if I have to tell them that, I mean, it's usually gotta start slow. Usually, doesn't work if you're just saying the Earth is flat. That's usually not how it works.
It's a joke. It's a joke.
Yeah. Get it.
Good morning,
You
gentlemen.
could propose questions, right?
Nathan, is there any plans for today? I was just glancing through the new vids, and it seems like there might be video worth the review. It's by the channel Just Thoughts, has about 5,000 subs and already 1,000 likes, and it was posted 6 days ago. Seems like it was made by a simpleton who obviously misrepresented us, but it might be worth a review. So I'm gonna post it in Skype if you like. Sounds good?
Yeah, we got to reach that 6,000.
How was your holiday, Mush?
Did anybody hear me? Oh, it went well,
Yeah.
bro. Thanks for asking, man. Is that a Essential Goat?
Yeah, Nathan wants to reply to you now, mate.
Wait, I didn't hear what you just said, bro.
Yeah, glad to see you back. Where did you go?
Just down to the shore. Jersey Shore, Long Beach Island.
Love the Jersey Shore.
I love it, man. I just hate to come back, man. It's like, you know, when you go on vacation, you come back and like you feel like meaningless and like a little depressed, you know, how quickly it gets over. But hey, whatever,
There's
man. Time
something
to move
about
on.
the water, right, Mike Mush? When you go to the shore,
Oh my
it's like
God,
you see
bro.
the
It's like,
power of dawn.
this, yes, the soul is at rest next to ocean. I was telling somebody yesterday, man, the only place where I can just chill and do nothing, you know? You can just lay around
Why
for
do you?
days and
Yeah, why do you
go ahead,
think
bro.
beachfront properties are the highest?
Oh my God, dude. Yeah. The houses that are down there, like my wife and I were just talking, how many rich people are there? And while at the same time society seems to be like collapsing, economies breaking, and dude, the houses that are down there and the
Because it's
cars,
all good.
how many Porsches and Benzes
It's a
and
breakdown of logic, is what you're seeing. It's not. It's not the lack of resources itself.
Correct.
What you're
It's the
watching is a
statist
breakdown of
parasites.
logic.
It's a class of inefficient or parasitic class versus the productive. Oh no, the anti-productive class. We are extracting it from the productive class, i.e., workers and such, and producers
But
and traders and homesteaders.
but if someone's legitimately worked hard and earned a lot of money, then it's their right to buy a nice house on the beachfront. Let's not get hating
Exactly.
on rich people too much, you know. Some people have genuinely earned it.
oh,
Because
don't
it's
get me.
not about.
I'm not
Oh,
hating
sorry.
on anybody, dude. That wasn't my point. No, I just surprising how many of them are there. Like it seems like
It's
everyone's house, especially Long Beach Island, dude. I don't know if any of you guys from the East Coast ever went there. It's just different than most other Jersey Shore. It just seems like everyone got money down there. Every house on the beach is like a multi-million-dollar house.
mhm.
That's very good.
Yes. It's not about
But I'm not a hater, man. I
working.
don't hate rich
It's not
people.
about
I would
working
agree with
hard,
you.
because
So
if we're honest, everyone works hard.
yeah, and just on that, I have my family has a house in Cape May Point, New Jersey, And by that we've had that for years. It was, we bought it real cheap, like almost 50 years ago now. But it's on a house on the beach, and it still costs a lot to maintain it. But
Yeah, I really don't see people with a lot of money to be considered rich or wealthy. I consider them to be blind to the enslavement tool that they're attracted to.
A condemning man, are condemning man for his money and his happiness.
Well, I mean, if materialistic things make you happy, then I mean that's your own prerogative, I guess.
So
If
whoever
you
told
actually,
you you're a bit of a downer,
Materialistic
Matthias?
necessarily.
Has anyone said you're a bit of a bummer before? Like a bit of a downer?
well, I'm sorry if the truth hurts. I mean,
No, I'm just saying
some people call
you're a bit of a misery.
well, some people call it an inconvenient truth. Whenever I call it a convenient truth, because you're no longer trapped by that lie.
Okay. So if I pulled
What
up
lie?
one day in your driveway, we were mates, and for whatever reason, let's base it in something that might actually happen. Let's say my YouTube channel suddenly got really successful and paid me a bundle of money, more than I could do anything with. And I went out and bought a Lamborghini just because I like fast cars. And I pulled up on your driveway, went, "Do you like, I'm really proud of this. Look at my new Lamborghini. I'm so pleased. It's wicked. Let's go and have a razz." And you went, "You with your materialistic life and blah, blah, blah." I'd be like, "Oh, you just come and have a razz. You can do 4-wheel power slides in this." But you'd be like, "No, you're so materialistic." Right?
Right.
Well, that's a want, not a need, for one.
Sure. I'm not decrying that. Nobody needs a roller coaster ride, do they?
Right. Nobody needs a big flat screen TV and a 2-car garage either.
Exactly. But if you've
Right.
got a
Yeah.
truck
People want
and
that
a sports car
because
for the
they've been
weekend,
conditioned.
you're pretty sorted, right?
I'm just saying, people.
There's no reason to think like that. There's no reason to think like that, because first of all, this is a place of abundance, and everyone could have whatever they want. Now someone could argue that with me, and then I'll sit down with them and tell them exactly where they're going wrong and why they can't do that. So it's logically, you're never going to be able to tell me I'm just broke because the man is keeping me down. No, it's going to take a lot more to convince me, seeing as that I help people not end up like that for a living. So, but that's the thing, though. People believe that there's this world where, oh my God, this person just spent so much money on this. It's disgusting. Well, I mean, their profit though is much greater than, someone like us right now, like as a normal person, right? Because I'm not gonna I wouldn't spend like 400 grand on a car, right? But at the same time, someone who makes 2.5 million a year, that's not really a big deal, right? That's a couple of checks maybe. But think about the TV we buy and how many checks that takes us to work for to invest in. So we're kind of like, we got it backwards. Like we overspend far more grossly than the people that we complain about that do have it at our level, and wonder why we're where we're at.
Good
Good morning,
afternoon.
amigos.
How are you?
Tick, 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 tick. We're good, Neil.
Awesome.
Well, that's good to know. What do you want to do? We've got a video to actually cover today, and yesterday was spent, well, I was going to say for the majority of the time chit-chatting, but it was the entire time chit-chatting. Now, we can do a bit of chit-chatting as we're all nicely warmed up from the pre-show, chatting nicely about government control structures, but it was all very speculative. So based on that, although you warmed up, I'm more keen to jump into potentially covering a video. But if you want to do a bit of housekeeping, go ahead.
Hmm?
That was.
If you don't get off early.
Say that one more time, Rev. Rev, are you hot micing right at the beginning of my live show? Thank you so much. Definitely encourages people to keep watching if they're new. Anyway, as you can tell, we do have a live panel. If, as I said in the intro, you do want to join, there's a link in the info box below this video, and you can join the Flat Earth Debate Discord server run by the illustrious... Where is he, actually? Is he even here? I'm not going to give him a shout out if he's not here. I'm not going to kiss up to him. Strictly speaking, we're in competition now because I'm sort of pruning out the best participants that join from the public and get them to join the separate panel, which is what I call G+, which is a service that I pay for slightly better audio and a few features that I like, which I won't bore you with. But that was cause for a bit of a, what's the word, disagreement between myself and Righteous Voice. There we go, I mentioned him. But Righteous Force was of the opinion that no, there's certain people who moderate the Discord server that cannot be on the G+ panel in spite of them being amongst the best panel members. So he's like, all right, it's like that, is it? But that's no bad thing. So yeah, if you are watching in public and thinking, I could definitely have my 2 pennyworth on here, it is that easy to click the link and just join. So big shout out to our moderation team in the Flat Earth Debate Discord server. It isn't actually mine, which is why there's this healthy competition, if you want to call it that, between Discord and G+, because I run G+, and Righteous Force runs the Flat Earth Debate Discord server. Obviously, it's our home. We do occasionally toddle along to other servers, but it's not run by me. And every bit of moderation, I don't even know how to use Discord half the time. I have to get advice on what to do if I want to go somewhere. So it's all very embarrassing from that perspective, but nevertheless, very amusing. If you do want to join, though, like I say, click the link. It's the same link. It doesn't alter in terms of how the process of joining stays the same. So if you did want to join, like I keep saying, click on that link. How many people are in the server now? Does anybody know?
15.
No. I don't mean in this
Over
live stream.
100.
In the actual total, the total number of people.
Close to 1,000.
One more time.
Close to 1,000.
Close to 1,000 members in the Flat Earth Debate Discord server. Wow, that's cool. That's a lot of people to participate. Cool, very cool.
Well, 14.
Most of them are lurkers.
You say LARPers?
Voyeurs.
No, I mean lurkers. Like they'll watch the text chat and they'll observe what's going on in the server, but they won't join.
Oh, that's fine by me, as long as they don't clog up the voice chat. So for
Nathan.
the live shows especially, I like to keep a cap on the amount of people that can join the live stream chat, so I can keep an eye on everyone at once, basically. Obviously, although I'm decrying my knowledge of Discord, the bit I do use, I've got a very good handle on, and I want to be able to keep an eye on anybody that's speaking or causing audio chaos, so I limit the number. And if people hang around and they're not talking, it's like, just go and watch it on YouTube, because then there's more space, because someone might try and join and go, oh, I can't get in. I've got to actually ask somebody why I can't join this 15-strong panel that's already at 15, or whatever the number is currently. But the point is, if you're in the voice chat, talk. That's what it's for. If you're not, and you're just like, oh, well, I want to listen. Well, it's not a listening room. Go somewhere else. Chat. If you've got something to say, join. But if you don't want to talk, don't join a voice chat. That's my attitude anyway, because it just clogs up the space for somebody who might want to join from the public.
Correct. And one time Anthony came in and started kicking everybody out, and I was new at the time. And like 5 times you removed me. I finally had to say, yo, stop kicking me.
Yeah, you haven't shut up since.
Yeah.
Bloody Anthony.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm actually effectively doing, because I've got a nice pool to get people from, and obviously when people pipe up in the Discord server on the live show, and I've got something good to say, I prick my ears up and think, oh, all right, that person could potentially be a more regular member and become part of the, let's be honest about it, favoured panel for my show. But being able to pick those people out from the crowd that's come from the public doesn't mean I should neglect the fact that that net still needs dragging. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm saying, although I do it every day, I point out there's a link in the info box. Some people who've come to 2 or 3 shows might go, I've heard this intro, it's the same every time. It is. And then scrub through it and then forget the points in it, which is to say, number 1, share the show. Number 2, if you want to join in, if you want to actually have your voice, you can. Most of the time, if you're a newbie, the rest of the people will be hushed pretty quickly. Hang on, shut up. Doesn't matter how important your point is. There's a new person that's trying to pipe in. Let's let them. So at the very least, you'll get to make your claim, hopefully unimpeded. And if it does get interrupted, that'll be shut down for at least the entirety of your claim, at the bare minimum. So,
Is that why you let mine go through? When I first came on, I had an important thing to say.
I doubt it.
Yes. I said my first words on this show were, is this the legend, Nathan Oakley?
Yeah, I don't like ass kisses. They probably didn't go over very well, I'm in no doubt. Anyway, quick shout out to Jason Dean, who says, please check out the movie trailer, ... Anybody want to translate that into something I would understand? Because thank you for the super chat, but I don't really know what you're referring to.
I wasn't ass kissing. I was being honest. I didn't even realize I was actually on the show.
Okay. Well, you don't, do you? If you just join, that does take some people by surprise when they join the Discord server, and then they're like, they see live stream, they join, and they think, oh well, there's got to be another step I'm going to be add a word with, or there's going to be something else, and the next thing you know, you open your mic and you're out on air on YouTube live. It's like, no, you are part of the show now. That's how easy it was. I know there's some authentication. Is that the right word? Authentication. That's the right word. That you have to go through to become part of the panel, but it's not exactly complex.
It wasn't only that. I was listening. You got to remember how flat earthers were being treated. There was nobody talking and speaking to ballers like it was here. So that I was blown away, because that I was not experiencing that.
Okay. I take it we're going to forego housekeeping, right? Yes, let's not bother. Well, that's good.
What, for Neil's autobiography?
You're writing an autobiography, Neil?
What's that?
You're writing
He's reading
an
out now.
autobiography?
Let's get to housekeeping.
No, we've gone past that. It's gone past the 10-minute mark. So, in my mind, once you've gone past the 10-minute mark, that's it, right? Housekeeping isn't housekeeping anymore. You're into disturbing the guests as they're unzipping their suitcases. You know what I mean? We're into it now. We're live. We're in the air. It's like a aircraft. All that pilot wants to do is get in the air. Once you're in the air, everything's all good. I mean, it's not always the case, but for the most part, stressful bit's getting it off the ground. And it's the same with the live show. So if once you're a minute in, and you've suffered the interruptions from Neil, then you're in the air, you're flying, you're cruising. We're cruising now. We're 10 minutes into the live show. So what's the point in housekeeping?
Those are not interruptions. Those are contributions.
Contributions? Oh, I should value them highly, should I? Can I pay my mortgage with those contributions? Smash the super chat, by the way.
I contribute my loyalty.
Something nobody asked for. Literally in the last couple of days, I've had to say, yeah, I'm sorry, John. You're going and all that, but I'm not going to shed a tear because people come and go all the time, and I've got to be a little bit cold when you're running a live show that people can literally just join at the drop of a hat. Now, some of you are really good panel members, and I'm very appreciative of everything John has done, but I can't get all emotional about the fact that he's got other stuff to do. There's no obligation to be here at all for anybody that comes. I mean, it's humbling.
Not talking about leaving. Has nothing to do with leaving. Loyalty is when people are coming behind your back with daggers. You're still there. You're not going to be the one to turn like certain people.
Sure, but what I'm saying is you're not going to be punished for being fickle. and vanishing at the drop of a hat. But by the same token, your loyalty is not necessarily going to get praised either, is kind of the point I'm making, Neil. You're like, I'm offering you loyalty. I'm like, well, no offense, people do just come and go. You've seen it with your own eyes. So I'm a little bit detached from that in a way. Same reason I said earlier I don't like butt kisses. Same principle. That's at Jason Dean. He says, fly me to the moon, just for fun. I don't think you can fly to the moon, Jason Dean. Or is he just quoting
Frank
Sinatra?
Sinatra sings it.
I was going to say, is he just quoting Sinatra?
It's the movie you was referring to earlier, the movie trailer.
The movie's called Fly Me to...
Yay! Sorry, I one connect down, one to go, brother. That's an insider for Nathan. Sorry to
No
interrupt
idea what he's
like
talking
that.
about. I've no idea. It's not an inside joke. I don't know what he's babbling about. Yeah, that's right, Eli. I'll give you the super chat, Jason Dean.
I know what you're talking about.
One down, one to go. The big kahuna. I don't know how to swing that.
Okay. Just saying it a second time actually helped quite a lot, surprisingly. Yes, now I do know what you're talking about.
For real?
I don't mind disclosing this if you don't have to be vague about what's going on. Shall I just tell people?
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just well, I'll say it like this. There are two people that, I've taken up the responsibility to contact. I know you guys. I know you guys love Nathan Oakley, and I know you like us to take this show on the road, right? And have him, talk to all your favorite people rather than some other people. So I was on the Killer Priest podcast because I actually met someone by trying to contact him. I actually met another panelist, and he actually introduced us. And so they want me on his show again. And shoot, why not Nathan, right? I mean, that would be huge, right? Like, wouldn't you guys like to see Nathan on another platform? So that's exciting times.
Yes, indeedy. So, I mean, the reason for this proactive push to get me out to various different places, which yesterday there was a whole... You should pop yourself on mute, Eli. There was a whole meeting of minds after the show where me alone, I basically can't do what is going to be and is currently happening, which is to say that I'm going to release a book in the next maybe week, might be a little bit longer, but I'm going to say in the next week or so. It's already finished, it's done, it's written, the cover art's been done, it's ready to be published, and it's got a price tag and an ebook, and you can order a hard copy. All the things that are ready to be done are done. Now, what now needs to be done is I need to get in touch with various different people who are influencers that I can say, right, I need you to influence your audience to buy my book, which is typically the way things go when you go out to these places, like exactly the same format as Dave Weiss has done with his app. Go buy my app, I'll be going, go buy my book. In other words, it's a reason to be in front of these people. So that's why, without knowing many people, quite literally, I'll just be honest, I've reached out to the people around me and gone, well, it's only 6 degrees of separation. How hard can it be? Here's the people that we would want to be, listening to the subject matter. Some of them pro, some of them neutral, some of them covering the subject with others, but potentially not pro at all. But all of them valuable in terms of promoting what we do. And what we do is been put into a book. So there we go. So the book's already got a title, All Roads Lead to Flat Earth. And like I say, that's going to be coming out in the very near future. And hopefully I'll go on a little tour de force out there saying, go buy my book. This is why Earth is measured flat. So that's been organised currently. But this is something that will be happening, over the coming months. And I think it's about the right time to start saying, yes, this is going to be happening. Although it's taken a very long time to pull all what I've just described very succinctly together. It's not like it's happened in the last week. Far from it. But yeah, you'll start seeing the results of that behind-the-scenes work that a lot of other people have done around me to enable me to be in a position to be out there promoting something. Because I feel, and others have suggested, that if you haven't got something to be out there promoting, it's a lot harder to get in front of somebody, motivating them with things like affiliate links is what motivates them to have you on the show. There's a whole, financial negotiation about what will be beneficial to the person that's interviewing you, that is normal. Now, for me, obviously, I'm not necessarily doing any of this. My motivation is to tell the world Earth is flat. That's how it's measured and dealt with. And there's these things that need to be around me as a periphery, like books and guest interviews and things of that nature, that kind of happen, even though that isn't my objective. But they have to kind of happen anyway. So everyone around me is buzzing like bees, getting all this stuff happening. It is, from where I'm sat, not overwhelming, a little bit, if I'm honest, but quite amazing to see happen. And as I'm seeing it happen for me, I kind of appreciate why other people get to be in the positions that they're in by way of the support network that must be around you in order to achieve that, because it simply cannot be done as an individual. You can't sell yourself in the same way as somebody else can sell you when they're genuinely enthused by your success. And if you take Eli's enthusiasm a second ago, in terms of he's keen to tell me I've achieved something for you. He's doing it altruistically, right? It's not for him. Yeah? He's pulling on his old previous experiences with the Killer Priest podcast and saying, oh, this might be an angle in for you. What does he benefit? Zero. So to have that coming my way is humbling, and it's impressive to see, but it is also very humbling and nice, and all those good positive things that I can't list when I'm humbled as I am in this particular state describing it while it happens. So I just wanted to share that with the audience, because it is a I don't know, have a better word, but a beautiful thing to behold. And if I can only share that a little bit with the audience, so you can kind of hear it in the tone of my voice and how I'm suggesting these things are happening, you can kind of, to a certain extent, share in that. I don't know if that's possible or not, but just by describing it, I hope I'm sharing this experience that's currently happening with the audience, so you can go, wow. And if you're long-standing, long-time audience members, you'll have picked up these vibes anyway. Maybe even be participating, like in the Discord server that I'm encouraging on this show, people to join. Maybe we can get it in excess of 10,000 by the time we have this conversation again. Anyway, it's a lovely roller coaster to be on at the moment, Eli. So yeah,
Now,
thank you for being one of the wheels.
after that whole video, listening to somebody who state that he knows for sure that Earth is flat, we want you as our representative, not people that don't even know Earth is flat and are true Earth is and not flat Earth is. The thing cannot be more perfect.
You know what? Go on speakerphone so you guys hear me well. That was very well said, Nathan. And a even greater follow-up, Neil. It's exactly how I feel. Very well said.
Yeah, hopefully I'll be out there in front of various different people. Obviously, the first people you reach out to are the people that you've built a varying rapport with. I say varying because obviously there's different people on the list, and I know each of them to a varying extent. But yesterday, for instance, I got in touch with, what does he go by now? They Live Truth. I want to get his channel name right. And he's had a crappy time. He's had all sorts of channels shut down. And now he's in exactly the same position as us, censored to all hell, shoved to the bottom of the lists, moaned about by the people that we moan about currently. Let's not mention any names on this particular show. But literally while yesterday's after show was recording, I happened to see that he'd seen my message I had sent to him, which was along the lines of, look, I've got a book coming out and I want you to have a copy of it. So I need to get you a voucher code so you can download it from the site without having to pay for it, so you can actually read it. And seeing that he'd seen that message, I immediately got in touch with him, and I'm like, I need your email. Anyway, that turned into an actual phone call, as is often the case with, let's get his channel name right again, They Live Truth. he chatted with me. Again, I'm almost doxing him. I almost said his name then. I've got to be very careful. But to not only get his channel name correct, because Russian Vids is no more. That's what he used to go by when he had 100,000 odd subscribers. And now he's at something like 10, maybe 20,000, a fraction of what he was before, which is a real shame. But he's been barking the same things, saying the same, tangential in many instances, but also very much flat earth related to us. So I reached out to him and I'm like, I want you to be one of the people who are reading this book, promoting this book, putting an affiliate link to this book and discussing the book with me. So hopefully, well, he's already agreed to do it. So yeah, certainly RV, as we fondly refer to him as, in remembrance of his old channel, Russian Vids, as it used to be known, but now RV Truth, or RV. So yeah, so I'll be doing it with people like him. I've obviously reached out to people like Mark Sargent. I've sent Eddie Bravo a text, because this is a reason and a justifiable excuse to say, hey, Eddie, actually, I've got something I can promote. There's a reason for you to have me on your show now, because he was suggesting that maybe 6 months ago. And I didn't respond with anything other than, great, yeah, that would be wonderful. But I haven't got anything to say, yes, actually, remember you were mentioning having me on? Well, that text has been sent to him. I've started gathering in emails. Bro Sanchez was another one I went on to that I had to explain to the panel that were formed yesterday, doing a lot of proactive work on my behalf, I might say. Thank you to you all. That with Bro Sanchez, it was easy enough because I've got a reasonable, again, much lower than I have with RV, relationship with Bro Sanchez. You know, I sporadically talk to him, have interacted with him on multiple occasions. I'm subscribed, I'm occasionally in his chat. So when I was happening past his live stream and dropped a message to him in the chat, I thought, no, he will actually pick up on this and respond to me, and he did. You know, dishing out the email that is public anyway, that I could send him a link so he can download this book pre-release for no fee, because obviously it's all set up to be paid for, but I don't want people who are potentially have me on their show having to fork over the cash for the book. So I want to send you a voucher code so you can just discountly download it. So that's what I've been doing. I've been gathering up those emails. There's obviously a few others that I probably haven't mentioned but have acquired, and I can't remember right off the top of my head while I'm live. But that's what I'll be doing over the next couple of days as well, trying to get more and more emails and having the preemptive message with those people to say, I want you, aware of what this product is, so I can then, after you've read it, hopefully get you to promote me and it on your show. So that's what's happening. And in the case of the people that are being not mentioned specifically with reference to Eli, it's because they're doing it on my behalf. Eli, in this case, is contacting a couple of individuals that he may have a contact with. One of them you've heard of, the other he's not going to mention, and I encourage him not to mention anybody that we haven't actually had contact with, because that'll just make you look silly. And hopefully get some other names that, might have mentioned Flat Earth in the past and therefore might be encouraged to have a Flat Earther on to promote a book. That would be me. So, the feelers are being put out as we speak. The book, which strictly speaking could be published tomorrow, I had a discussion a couple of days or yesterday with 10th Man about adding in a little bit more here and there. So he certainly wants to add some various bits to it as well. So that might slightly delay things. We shall see. But yeah, like I say, the cover art's done. I handed that across to RV yesterday, and I think he suggested that he was going to put it on his stream. I did dip in for like 10 seconds when I got an opportunity to, and saw that he got the Nathan Oakley 1980 YouTube channel up. So I'm like, oh, you must be talking about, I really wish I could stay. I've just got other stuff to get on with. So I did see that he was definitely talking about it. I assume he'd shown people the book cover. So yeah, it's all go.
I'd appreciate it if you
Outstanding.
could send a signed copy to Danny Faulkner. Say, here's the book, but you say we can't read and write.
I mean, as far as I know, that is something that is possible, as I mentioned earlier, that you can actually, as far as I know, arrange for a physical copy to get printed off and sent to you with all the artwork and illustrations in colour. Obviously that's more money than just downloading an ebook, but it is certainly an option on this particular site that sells a lot of books, which I don't know if I should be mentioning that, I haven't checked. But at some point, all of the information will be released. There's no reason why I can't talk about this, because it's not like I've got a first draft together and I'm like a lot of other people who say, oh yeah, I'm writing a book. You're like 5 years later. It's like, no, this is imminent. It is actually done. It's been spell checked.
It's nice.
I would like a signed copy, please, Nathan.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to be ordering hard copies and signing them. I find that kind of pretentious nonsense a bit silly.
There's not going to be a book signing in your village.
Well, when you promote it, there's things called book signings.
Well, no.
You go to Barnes and Nobles.
While I'd love to take part in that 80s pastime, we currently live in an age where we can digitally transmit our images and download books. So while that might be the way we used to do it.
Yeah, but you can't meet nobody.
It's not going to cut it. No. Yeah. Readers love the convenience of 2024, but also as book readers, people who have loved books forever, they will have both a digital copy and a hard copy because there's nothing like the smell of the pages, the way it feels, you sitting under a light. You're never going to read. You're never going to get people who love to read not loving that, and I'm sure most of the readers would like a signed copy. Maybe not most of the readers, but there's definitely a reason to sign a few copies for specific people, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe.
Especially Witchy.
The way I would see this, right? Hold on,
books.
let me just answer him, Neil. Right, the way I would see this is the book will go out, I'll go out and promote it. And then let's say one day I happen to be at something similar to a conference, which I've attended various different conferences over the years. And someone happened to come up to me clutching that book. I went, can you sign this for me? I would be so flattered. I'd be blushing and I'd go, choked up. Of course, I can't quite believe I'm being asked. Yes, there you go. And that would be the kind of thing that I would find heartwarming. By contrast, me going, I will be at this conference on this time, at this time, on this stand with my book to do a book signing. That would make me want to die, honestly.
Yeah, but that's how things are done, Nathan.
In the 80s.
Also, it's quite reasonable. I imagine the book won't be too expensive. So people who are able to will be able to buy one book a month and then donate it somewhere appropriate within their area. So your local library, your local charity shops.
Fantastic
the council
value.
in my area have turned old bus stops into mini libraries, as an example. So go ahead, sir.
It's going to be fantastic value at $149.99. Just tremendous value. I'm expecting to sell thousands of them.
Holy shoot. Some lady almost just freaking smashed into me.
Thanks for that.
Hey, sounds like a Glober. Probably a Glober.
It's less than my PS5, and it's going to be worth more than that to give to all of the people that I kind of, over the years, was apprehensive about sharing a link to the show to, because I didn't know how it was going to go. Is he going to curse somebody out today? I don't know. Like, with that book, I'm putting it in every church I know.
I actually don't know how much it's going to be. I did discuss it at some stage, but it's kind of irrelevant till you've actually got a product to sell, what it's going to cost. But I would expect it to cost whatever a normal ebook book costs to download, probably $10, $15, $20. I don't know. Is that how much an ebook costs?
That range, yes.
I would always go for a physical copy because books are like boobs. It's always better to hold them.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh, that's so good.
I'm getting a physical copy. I'm getting a hardcover.
Yes, also better than more than
When
way.
is the date?
I always pirate ebooks, and I buy physical if I really like it.
Fair enough. Well, there will be an option to do both. Anyway, enough about this. This was supposed to be a quick hint at it. Ebook price depends on the length, says Bible U from the chat, who is one of the people who has read this book and gone through it with a fine-tooth comb. For obvious reasons, given her stature in terms of hermeneutics and general linguistics, you'd expect Paula to be, asked very nicely, please, can you look at this? We know you'll do a really good job at critiquing it. And she has.
That's why I couldn't understand why she was banned. Who the heck would do something like that?
Someone banned Paula. So she's like, I don't want to be a mod. Can you unmod me? Because I don't really want that stature in your show. I just want to participate. Rather than having this label and thing hanging over your head because you've got a spanner, I'd rather not have that. I was like, yeah, fair enough. That seems reasonable. So I went and demodded her. And everything was fine for a couple of months until someone banned her. And then I went back in via my iPad to try and unban her, which is you go to their channel, go to the About page, and then there's a little flag. You click on the flag, you go to hide or unhide, depending on what their status is. Well, when I went to do that, it wasn't there anymore. They'd changed it. I'm like, oh! So then I spent about half an hour faffing around trying to figure out how to unban Paula, which I couldn't do. So eventually what I did to get around it was go in and just type her name manual into the community settings as a moderator, like a channel name, and then pick from the suggested. There aren't any of the matches I couldn't see that matched her channel name. So I picked her as a moderator, and I'm like, hopefully that'll unban her. And then it really bugged me so much that after I'd done that, I did actually go and find how to do it, because I thought this is going to come up again. And if I don't spend another half an hour finding out how to do it properly, having already resolved it by just giving her a spanner. So I have done that. I hope she doesn't charge me with now unmodding her and unbanning her after the fact, but we'll see. I'll do whatever for Paula, because she's currently my hero, having gone through the book. So there we go.
Yeah, and plus you got to find out. You got to have a little conference with the moderators, because that was vindicative. Whoever did that, it was very vindicative.
Yeah, there should be a way to find out who did it, because on Discord there's a history of everyone who's ever done anything, especially mods. All the action, there's history of it. So it should be the same with YouTube.
Check out Greg T.
Sure.
Best comment so far. Nathan's book, 39.59.
Nice. I like it.
It isn't. I thought, why are people guessing the price? I've just said I don't know. And then I read it again. I'm like, 39.59. Very good, very good. If we can wangle
And with the
one of
discount,
the
you get to
versions,
minus it from 90.
I was going to say, if one of the versions can be wangled to be that price, I don't know if there's like how close to the mark
Say that
that is for a
again,
price.
Central Goat.
With the discount code, you can minus 90.
Minus 90. Very good, very good. I like it all.
A question about the book. Is there illustrations in the book?
Yes.
Cool. So it's like
Yeah, it has to
observation.
be.
Yeah, a lot of them are AI generated. So the guy who helped me write the book has gone out and specifically asked AI with he's obviously got various AI tools that he's utilizing. I don't know why I'm even pretending to know what I'm talking about. Just AI and yes, images. And they do match with what's being talked about. So good job. And yeah, they look nice. It looks fantastic, actually. I can't wait to actually get a physical copy in my hands, because I'm very excited about. It's so sad to say. I'm excited about the pictures. The text is excellent. It's covering what we do. But yeah, I'm just excited to see the final product. I've seen it obviously on my monitor, and to a degree, the piece of software that's used to create it shows you in a way that you can kind of flick through it as a book. And it is as is, it is as it's going to be laid out in the pages, but it's not the same, is it, as having a glossy picture in front of you with the text next to you actually there to read.
Yeah. AI is a very good tool to use. A lot of people hating on AI. A lot of mad artists don't care about them.
Sure, but you've got I have got quite hyper-specific requirements for the things that are being talked about. So to find an image that's going to satisfactorily match with what you're being or what's being discussed is difficult. Whereas, from what I understand, the limited understanding I've been given, with enough criteria, you can get to the point where it perfectly matches what you would hope to have as the picture next to it. Now, not me, but somebody much, much more skilled has gone through that process, which is still time-consuming, to produce images that match what's being said. And it does, and it looks glorious. Like I said, on a monitor.
Yeah, nothing. There's nothing. No issue with that. There's a good tool for the job.
Yeah, indeedy. Okay, right. We've had enough waffle about books and not doing housekeeping and Neil nearly having a crash. Should we cover a video? This has been provided by you, isn't it? I think, Goat. Was it you that shared this earlier?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so everybody knows the drill. This is it quite small? Do my eyes deceive me? 1.5k, so this guy's really teeny tiny. Definitely share this guy.
It might be worth playing on 1.25 speed as well.
Does he speak quite slowly?
Yeah, it's quite a long video.
Okay. Well, either way, I'm going to be putting his link in the live stream chat now, so everybody knows the drill if you're a regular. If not, please let the videographer know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. The idea with this, or any videographer that we cover, is that if they were to respond, they'd put a link to my video. In this case, this videographer doesn't really make any difference either way, but is smaller than us, so it is obviously definitely liked by the people we cover if they're smaller and they suddenly get an rush of people coming and giving them a nice comment. So yeah, please let him know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me, so we can hopefully receive some algorithmic love from YouTube were he to respond. And in the meantime, he's definitely going to get some extra love beyond the algorithmic love that he may be receiving anyway. If he's challenging flat earthers, there's a good chance he's getting more than his fair share of algorithmic love anyway. Hopefully that's enough waffle for people to have actually done this. And I do actually mean do it. I'm not suggesting it so that you go, oh yeah, Pete, this is where other people go and click on the link and tell him at Nathan Oakley. No, I mean you. Yeah, you. Click on that link. It's going by right now. Tell him at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. And hopefully that repetition of the exact same thing with a slightly different intonation has bought people enough time to have actually done it. And we can move on eventually. But me suggesting that people do go and let him know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me, while people are letting him know that at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me, with a comment with no swearing, so it definitely doesn't immediately get removed, and polite, so he actually reads it and doesn't delete it himself because it seems arrogant or snarky. And hopefully he'll respond. We will see. I think that is actually enough time to get people back. What do you reckon? Should we get on with it?
Hit play.
Okay, I've not sound checked this yet, so I should really do that first.
Changing the mind of somebody like a flat earther is something you can't really expect to happen when you're talking to them. It's not really even the reason that you're talking to those people. I mean, you're talking, because you want to sharpen your debate skills, or if you're like me, because you kind of want to, do some kind of a demonstration or something like that. But you never really go in expecting that somebody's going to change their mind. And when they do, it's usually a lot more about them than it is about you.
Not really. I mean, let's not stereotype, deal with people, I often forget it's even happened the following day. In terms of the rhetoric, which is what it's become, of Earth being measured flat, that's a demonstrable fact. Whether or not it changes your mind is inconsequential to me. These are demonstrable facts. Earth is flat.
But it is pretty special when it does happen. And, you're just, if you're there and you're lucky enough to see it and be part of it, maybe be some small catalyst towards that change that person is making on their own. That's pretty amazing. And I was fortunate enough to witness that. Let's talk about it. To people on the internet. I'm always very polite about it, though. I just tend to ask difficult questions and insist on the answers. Shouldn't be a big surprise because I am, in fact, a lawyer. You can think of my channel as kind of like a self-defense course for getting in fights with the internet.
Okay, was there a point that he starts waffling about anything beyond word salad? Is there a point? We're about a minute and a half in already.
On my channel, you'll find a lot of stuff to do with debate. I do a lot of adapting cross-examination techniques and other techniques that we use as lawyers to
Cool.
Make people who are...
Did you actually watch this, by the way? Mush. Was it Mush? No, it wasn't Mush, was it?
No, that wasn't me that shared this video.
It was Goat. Sorry.
Sensual goat.
Sorry, Goat.
I got through some of it. I did send to you for you to see as well. This wasn't the video that Mush recommended it in the pre-show, just so you know.
No. It's the video I want to be covering. I think. I debate where a flat earther changes his mind. That's the one that this is, isn't it? I debated a flat earther and he changed his mind. I should have done this in the call to action, really. Let's do that now. So the name of the video is I debated a flat earther and he changed his mind. Question mark, exclamation mark. And it's on Mr. Anderson YouTube channel. Mr. Anderson. Anderson. So go and check him out. As I say, I've already put a link, so I won't do the call to action again. He just
What was the flat earther's name? Dave Weiss?
I don't know, we'll find out, I guess. Quite a long video.
Reluctant to face the truth and confront difficult ideas. So this channel is all about kind of adapting those things and showing you how to use them in regular conversations rather than just in courtrooms. Because, especially as we get into these increasingly polarized societies and these echo chambers, the skills that lawyers use to have those difficult conversations.
I would advise this guy goes and looks at Deception Detective. So he's got a little blurb that he does. I'm trained in statement analysis. I'm a lawyer, and this gives me an advantage in looking at these videos because X, Y, and Z. Moving on to the video. Yeah, check out Deception Detective. He does a very similar thing. I'm hoping for good things from you too.
Conversations, which have been sort of honed and improved in courtrooms, are becoming more and more useful to regular people. So I hope that you guys can sort of take this debate that I'm about to share with you as an example of sort of some of the things that you can do, that you can employ, that you can incorporate into your own debates. And you don't have to approach it just like me. In fact, I suggest that you don't. But maybe there's a nugget here or there, a little trick that you can use to.
I'm going to blast through this because him repeating himself 2 or 3 times about the same thing is kind of a bit tedious.
We're going to go into my first flat Earth room and just see who's there and see how things turn out. See whether or not we can get into a little bit of a tangle and just sort of. The goal here isn't really going to be convert anybody because it's just not going to happen. The goal is really more to showcase some of the skills that you can use if you do want to kind of try and break down the barriers in that echo chamber and at least sort of have a dialogue. So we join this debate in progress. I'm coming in. They're already talking to each other. And
so was that preamble before he jumps in? And he's
that was a poisoning of the well fallacy and strom, or what is it? I forgot the name of it.
Stereotyping.
Yeah, stereotyping. Thank you.
Sure. But what? Yes, I should really focus on the primary objective. I'm more keen to know the timeline. It sounds like because he put a little bit of foreshadowing in an annotation. So also I thought he put. So okay. So does that tell me that chronologically you recorded this before you stepped into the debate, advising what to do pre-going in, and then you go in and this is the bit directly before with a bit of an edit? It seems like it. If so, well, let's just see what happens. I'm already intrigued. 97 people watching this live stream. Please share the show. There has already been a link go by for this particular chappie to let him know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me a very warm welcome to this show. I'll put another link to him. His name's Mr. Anderson. But please share the show. Smash the share button for this show. Obviously, it'd be great to get over 100 people watching. And there's probably a good chance that the only reason there's 97 people watching is because others have shared the show already. So thank you very much to all of you who have shared the show here. And we'll crack on.
Somebody's asking them about, how they should know whether or not the 1 degree of changing the zenith of an object corresponds to exactly 60 nautical miles. Like, how do you know that?
Well, you'll need a flat earth to measure the degree.
And zenith?
It's a flat earth measurement, mate. You're talking about angles off a flat baseline.
How is that derived was the question. And so that's where.
All right, where's that derived from? A flat earth measurement?
We're walking into this debate.
Stop, dude.
Well, so hang on though, guys. Isn't the answer just simply that it's definitionally true? 60 nautical miles equals 1 degree of azimuth change, and that's how we defined it. That's the reason why it is. There's no.
Welcome to flat Earth.
More complicated than that.
Yeah, but how they define 60 nautical miles equal 1 degree?
They just defined it. So 360 degrees is the whole of the Earth. So if you assume the Earth is a sphere.
Begging the question fallacy. The degrees is the measurement through the protractor that you're looking at with respect to a flat baseline. That's how the measurement is measured with respect to a flat Earth. That's how it's measured. You turning the protractor into a globe Earth that you assume isn't going to fly. Here, we'll see what happens on this discussion.
Then, 60 nautical miles times 360 is going to get you all the way around the Earth. Right?
No, only if you assume Earth's the protractor you're measuring with. So you're twisting the Earth through the degrees that you actually measure on a flat Earth with the baseline and the angle to the sun, star, or any other luminary that you're using to measure this angle with off a flat Earth. That's how it's actually measured. You taking that measurement that cannot be acquired off the sphere surface and describing it from the centre of a sphere as though you're twisting a 360-degree protractor around at 1 degree for every recession of the star known as Polaris towards the horizon, for example. Well, that 1 degree, to give you the 60 nautical mile description, isn't a degree that's been measured with respect to the centre of a sphere that's twisting. It's 1 degree off the surface of Earth. Recession to the horizon, indicating an increase in your latitude and 60 nautical miles for every 1 degree of declination to the horizon off a flat Earth. Like I say, he's transposing that into Earth being the protractor that he's going to twist. Therefore, 1 degree is 1 degree of a twisting protractor that is a globe Earth. No, you have to actually acquire this measurement physically. Earth is physically measured flat.
Have you noticed Matthew learns in that Discord server?
Oh, yeah. Well, he knows this. He told me. He conceded it to me. Why isn't he correcting him? No, you're going to need a flat Earth to measure the angle, aren't you, Matthew?
Determine the size of the Earth, then. How do they determine the circumference?
Incorrect.
How do they determine the circumference?
Minimum elevation angle measurement to Polaris extrapolated out by radial value. It's the circle of equal elevation on a flat plane. It's the minimum inferred elevation angle measurement to Polaris. That's the outside edge of their ball. Also, just a radial value for an area of equal elevation, otherwise known as a circle of equal altitude. Circle and radius derive from flat Earth angle measurement. That's where you get your radius value. That's where you get your globe Earth circumference, from a flat Earth measurement.
I think you use a different method to determine the circumference, because if you measure it in nautical miles, why? Because it does.
If you measure it in nautical miles, you'd be taking the recession of Polaris towards the horizon to its minimum, otherwise known as the equator. It's a flat Earth measurement. According to him and his argument, he thinks he's arguing for a globe because he thinks the angle you measure through, the protractor, is the globe. Nobody's measuring from the centre of hell, and the angle we take from a flat plane is not a twisting protractor, globe Earth. We measure this Earth flat for these angles. He doesn't even know it. He thinks he's taking globe protractor twistings from a flat plane, it seems.
Doesn't help you if you just measure it in nautical miles. Like, in order to determine the circumference, just take 1 degree and...
1 degree, so that would be, what? 60 nautical miles away from the first measurement position of Polaris along a flat baseline. That 1 degree, that change in the elevation angle of the star when measured off a flat plane, that change, that 1 degree. I see. That 60 nautical mile degree change off a flat plane with a flat straight distance, 60 of them, straight line measurement distances along a flat plane. This is all needing quite a lot of flat Earth, my friend. You think Matthew Learns would be telling him? He conceded it to us. He seemed ignorant of it until we pointed it out to him and dragged him through the hedge backwards with him kicking and screaming, and then eventually conceding that he's going to need a flat Earth for these angle measurements. I mean, if Matthew Learns is there, you'd expect him to pipe up and say, yeah, this all proves flat Earth, as he knows it.
Figure out how far you travel in order to get 1 degree change in azimuth, and then...
Sorry, 1 degree change in azimuth?
Do the multiplication. That would give you the circumference.
Not azimuth, it's zenith. But okay.
Oh, sorry. I misspoke.
I know what you meant.
Yeah.
Yeah, so do we. Altitude and azimuth are flat Earth. These people think they're using globes when they're measuring Earth flat. Good choice. Good choice.
Amateurs.
Say again?
Amateurs.
No, it's what we've been dealing with for 10 years. People use a flat Earth and think they're making a globe claim with it.
Zenith, so zenith.
Yeah, that's how they would go about doing it, right? They would
take their zenith with respect to a horizontal baseline. You'll need a flat Earth for that.
Take the angle of elevation, maybe Polaris.
You'll need a flat Earth for that angle of elevation with respect to a flat baseline.
They'd drive 60 miles south, or they'd drive a distance south, and they would take another angle, and then they would just simply say, okay, this is the difference in zenith, this is how far I drove. They'd do a simple division, and then they'd figure out exactly how many miles per degree.
Right.
That's how they would do it.
Right.
Pretty
simple. So it's just a and that's not the same as a mile on land. Those.
It is a mile on land. What do you mean it's not the same as a mile on land? Why? Because it's a straight, flat distance. Suddenly, the land we're describing with nautical miles, that's distances on the ground, isn't the ground. We got there pretty quick. Why? Because it's not your globe Earth protractor you were twisting when we measure flat Earth angles off the surface and witness a star that doesn't move, drop towards the horizon as we back away from it. Yeah, you'll need a flat Earth for it all. It is the ground.
Those are nautical miles, and that's the reason why nautical miles are different, is because they're definitionally
Nautical miles
tied
work on
to
land too.
Right, but they're not the same as land miles. There's a different
Yes, nautical
distance.
mile and miles are different. 69
Right.
equals 60, right? We know that.
Right. So that's the answer. So it's not like, I mean, it's not an imponderable question. The real imponderable is, why does the North Star move when you travel south?
Why is that the question? It's the basis of the latitude system. Yeah, 1 degree drop towards the horizon for every 60 nautical miles, measured off a flat Earth. Why does it do that? Who cares? It's the basis of the latitude system. This is non sequitur. Why are you even asking? Why it does that?
Because the Earth is
Doesn't matter.
spinning, he's going
It
to
does
say.
it. Say again.
He's going to say because the Earth is spinning, I think, probably.
And why does it move linearly to the distance as far as your angle goes?
Right. That's the real question. I don't know the answer to that, though.
Because the Earth curves.
Yeah, neither does Scott. Join the club.
You're moving farther away from it is my guess, like an airplane flying away from you.
Yeah, but you're gonna get it. It's Radwin. I said this earlier to Scott, and he couldn't contemplate that. What does that mean? That's gibberish. That's nonsense. What do you mean you're going away from it? You have to know the distance. I'm like, dude, you can
I didn't say you had to know the distance.
from your proximity to away from something. You know you're moving away from it. You can say away without giving a specific distance. And he didn't want to answer. He's like, well, oh, that sounds like nonsense.
Right, but okay, but for that explanation, though, so we're saying that the North Star is going to move downwards, lower in the sky as you travel south because you're getting further away from it?
Yeah, that's what happens. You back away from Polaris, it drops towards the horizon. And that's the whole principle of what he's just... Why is he challenging this? That's what he's just described. 1 degree, 60 nautical miles. It's the basis of latitude, and now he's putting it out like, really? You're saying when you back away from it, it drops? Yeah, you've got 60 nautical miles further away, and now it's 1 degree lower. With respect to the flat Earth measurement you'll need to get this. So Earth is being measured flat. Who cares beyond that? This is it. For us, this is the game over point. Nobody's pointed it out yet, by the way, I'll point out.
That's what he's
and then
saying.
if you continue to go south, it will disappear entirely?
Yeah, hold on a second.
Well, that's what he's saying.
Do planes lower themselves in altitude when they fly away from you so they appear to go lower, or do they just fly at altitude and they appear to go lower?
Okay, so that's a nice, concise description of perspective change with altitude. Okay, fine. Yeah, but the altitude itself is described from a flat plane. The altitude that you used in your example proves Earth is flat. It's described from a horizontal plane of reference. We get an average for everywhere from the sea. It's called sea level. Now, Neil, now. Not in the middle of when I'm talking. Not... Neil, if you're going to open your mic right in the middle of when I'm talking and then leave a prolonged silence after I've finished.
Not me!
Who was it then? Who's getting moaned at? Put your hand up. Nobody's taking ownership of that little rumbling. Fine.
I've posted in Master B, Nathan.
What you posted?
Where this conversation is going to go.
At the 40-minute mark?
Yes.
Like I should go to that? Is that what you're suggesting?
No, just so you know, but they're going to be on topic for quite some time. So it's good.
I'm happy to just skip to the 40-minute mark if that's where the revelation happens. Right, let's do that.
Try it.
Despite my best efforts, this is actually not the correct math. Well, it kind of is, because it's part of the correct math, because it does have to do with locating the stars in the sky relative to you and sort of where their zeniths are going to be directly over top of your position. But
on a flat Earth, you've got a flat Earth diagram. So here's how you calculate. Here's how. Let's try that again. I'm colorblind. This is so hard to read. I think I'm reading what it says. Here is a more accurate illustration of what the math I show is doing. Okie dokie, it's a flat Earth. This is flat. Yeah, these are angles. This is flat. That's how it can be an angle.
But that's actually not sufficient to completely calculate your position on the Earth.
What, angles to stars? It's called celestial navigation. What are you babbling about?
You need more than that, and you do need something that is truly called spherical trigonometry.
Do you? There was me thinking you'd need an almanac and a good watch. What you need is a flat map and where the star is above on a flat grid at a particular time. Let me explain. If you go out tonight, wherever you may be at whatever time, and look directly up at the sky, there's a good chance there's going to be a star at what is known as your zenith. That is to say that the star's directly above your head. If you drew a line along the ground and then a line up perpendicular to it, 90 degrees, directly through your head, that is your zenith. So let's imagine, for the sake of example, that there's a star at 7 p.m. directly above your head tonight, wherever you may be. That is the star's ground position at that time. Now, that information is in the almanac, because we've spent thousands of years tracking the stars, and they're cyclical. So we know how the cogs turn and where they will be above at what time. Now, there are very specific, for ease, navigation stars that you can pick out in the night sky and use this process with, bearing in mind that that star where you are at a different location to you, so you're a sailor at sea at 7 p.m. and they look in the almanac after measuring the position of the star that is directly above where you are at that time. That data is in the almanac, so that when a mariner measures the angle to that star and makes a note of the time, he can look up in the almanac where that star is above at that time. That's the useful information. He can then draw a circle of equal altitude on his flat map. That's how celestial navigation works. Now, this guy's saying you can only follow this process with what did he say? Spherical trig? What are you babbling about? You've got a flat plane of the sky, a flat plane of the ground, and you're measuring an angle with respect to where the star is above on the flat ground. That's how it works. No spherical trig involved. Furthermore, spherical trig is an oxymoron. It's just trig. There's trig. Right? Putting your PZX triangles projected from hell through a sphere that you claimed was the protractor turning at 1 degree for every 60 nautical miles earlier doesn't make it so. We're not measuring angles from hell through a globe Earth protractor. We're measuring angles off the surface and then drawing circles with respect to those angles on flat baselines, on flat maps. That's why they're flat. They have to be to functionally match with the angles we measure off the flat Earth that we function upon. That's how it works. Like in your diagram with a flat baseline. Now, what he's actually got in this diagram, undoubtedly, is a tiny little globe Earth protractor that is not the equatorial plane, vast in nature in the diagram, with angles to the stars, with GPs on a flat baseline. For the angle measured in the first instance that could be thousands of miles away from your position along a flat Earth. That's the only way this angle can be acquired, to give you the positional data below the star. So this is you on the ground at 7 o'clock with the star above you. He can measure an angle from a position that isn't where you are to that star and look it up in the almanac. He needs, and it requires, and is functionally flat in order to do this and navigate. This is how our maps are made. This is how the latitude system is made. This is how Earth is measured. Flat. This is a spherical triangle, it says. I can definitely read that. No, mate, there's no such beast as a spherical triangle. Triangle means straight lines meeting at vertices. Spherical means curved. You can't have curved lines meeting at vertices and call it a triangle. It's not. That's idiotic.
And so I thought that I found it, but actually I'd only found a part of it.
Nathan.
And the irony here is that the real...
Yes.
I was just wondering, what else can you say to bait 10th man to come back on, give a profound statement, then a mic drop?
But Chaz, you do it. You go ahead.
No, this is his area of expertise. I'm just waiting any minute now. Fingers crossed.
What they need to do to blag the audience that this is working with respect to a sphere is have a surplus to requirement sphere that represents the protractor in the centre of the equatorial plane, with half of it below the plane and half of it above. In this case, this is a hemispheric North Pole centric system that he's got depicted, with a expanded equatorial plane, the globe Earth in the centre of it, and the angles coming from the centre of hell. Now he's going to say that the angles, curve angles, that aren't triangles, are these PZX points that he's plotted out onto the celestial sphere from the equatorial plane that is factually flat, with a globe Earth surplus to requirements in the middle of it, with the angle taken from the centre of hell. That's what he's describing. It's not something new to us. If you're new here and you've never heard us cover this, then this is it. This is how the blag works. All the measurements must work from a flat plane, so if you're ever going to claim it's working from a sphere, you're working from the centre of hell with an extended equatorial plane. The globe Earth being nothing more than a protractor that you're not standing on, you're standing in. Like if you blew up a Zorb ball, turned all of the points around the Zorb ball into a hemispheric protractor, 180 and 0 on either side, and you sat inside the Zorb ball and started pointing to stars off a flat Earth through the Zorb ball at the sky, well then you can point at points on the Zorb ball, mark them for all the stars, and then describe that view that you have as the hemispherical view described in the celestial sphere when you take north and south. Well, that's the view that you get through the Zorb ball that is your protractor if you're looking at the stars through a transparent Zorb ball, marking out the points that you see as you point out all the angles through the hemispheric blown up transparent ball that you sat in. Now if you then call that ball Earth, you can suggest that the angles you're taking from hell, projected through a surplus to requirement surface that you're not standing on, otherwise known as the Zorb ball with all the angles on it, to the sky that you measured through the ball, then you can pretend that the ball, completely redundant and surplus to requirements in this diagram, has something to do with the measurements taken off a flat plane. In this case, the equatorial plane. That's this. It doesn't. We're just measuring Earth flat. It is that simple. His after-the-fact attempt to pretend that the point PZX triangle curve angles are something to do with the actual angle acquisition of a flat plane is what they do after the fact to believe they're what, standing in hell? Measuring angles? They're not. Stupid.
Real stuff is actually much more complicated than the stuff I'm showing on that screen, and I'm going to link a paper in the description so you guys can see what the real math looks like, and it does have some diagrams and stuff too to sort of flesh it out. So
yeah, we're very, very familiar with all of these uses of flat planes. Here's the flat plane for the angles. Here's the flat plane for the angles. Here's the flat plane for the angles. I mean, they call them various different names. Plane of the ecliptic, equatorial plane. They're all the same thing, though. Flat planes that are used for measuring angles and then transposing globes into that aren't actually used for anything other than pretending that they've got something to do with the angle measurement that's coming off a flat plane, described in these diagrams. We do measure Earth as a flat plane. We do get angles from it. We can plot those angles into models and then pretend that those models have a bearing on our reality. We can also pretend we're sitting inside those models with a globe Earth wrapped around us that we can then fantasize about standing on rather than in.
Things that I'm saying in this video are more or less correct. I mean, some of the really science-minded among you are going to probably be able to pick some nits on this one. I'm probably...
Yeah, we will, because it's not science. You're in a category error. Talking about angle measurements with respect to flat baselines. How is that science? You think measuring stuff is science? That's maths. So, obviously, being a lawyer, you wouldn't know the difference between maths and science, would you now? I mean, let's just rephrase that. You don't know the difference between maths and science. This is measuring things. Science is an assertion of cause and effect based on natural phenomena through experimentation based on hypothesis, otherwise known as scientific prediction. You wouldn't know that. You think angle measurements of a flat Earth are science, and that your vague pointing at some flat Earth models is going to be the science that people don't understand and they can download your references for. If you understood this stuff, you just explain it concisely like I did. You don't.
Probably getting some legitimate stuff wrong. You're welcome to, kind of tell me about that stuff in the comments, but ultimately,
Oh, I will. You can't have curve angles.
the stuff about the great circle and the tangent plane to measure angles and how the
Tangent plane? What, the flat Earth that we're measuring these angles from? Yeah, I'll tell you all about it, mate. Earth's measured flat. You'll need to be measuring it flat to create that model you just had on screen a few seconds ago.
math only really works on a globe.
On a globe? Why did you show your diagrams on a flat plane in a globe then? If you want me to believe that your model of a globe only works on a globe, why are all your diagrams in a globe? Did you not notice what was going on in your diagrams in the globe with angles coming from hell? Or were they a little bit too small for you to notice? Because I noticed. Because I'm very familiar with them. You seem to have taken a cursory glance and assumed because there's a globe Earth in them, that means we're measuring on the globe Earth? No, you were measuring from inside it, on these planes. That's how we actually measure things. We're not in hell. You didn't notice you thought your measurements came from the surface of a globe? No, mate, no. You need to pay more attention to your own diagrams you're unfamiliar with.
That stuff's correct. So when we get into that, you can read the paper, you can check the real math.
In a globe, you just made an error. You said it was on a globe. Here's your diagram, here's the flat plane, and it bisects your globe, meaning the angles come from the center of hell. That's where the angles originate. That's what your angles are if you're going to refer to PZX triangles that are curved and don't have the ascribed nature of being a triangle, and the projected angles to them off a flat Earth. My God, these people are stupid. Look at your own diagram. These aren't coming from this globe surface, teeny tiny in nature. Yeah, they try and make it really small so you don't notice, and you didn't. And now you're being humiliated by flat earthers who've studied this stuff extensively and know that your angles come from hell in the globe, where you incorrectly ascribed them only working on a globe. No, they can never work on a globe. You can't get angles from a curve.
And, largely speaking, what I'm saying is correct, but
largely speaking, I've just ripped you a new one and embarrassed you.
This particular math that you're seeing on screen.
Hear that slight quiver in his own voice when he's got no one putting him under pressure? That slight waver in his voice box. The chord's tightening just that little bit because he knows he's bullshitting. Yeah, that's a little bit of stress creeping into his voice when he says, for the most part, weasel words. This is correct. Utterly wrong. You said it works on a globe. Wrong. Look at your diagrams. Look at your own images. In your globe, but mostly right with a slightly constrained voice that I can definitely hear on my setup. Yeah, mate, you know you're bullshitting, don't you?
Is not the complete math that you need, so just be aware of that.
Right, complete math. I thought this was science 5 minutes ago. Now we're not having the complete math given to us. I'm pretty sure I extrapolated out the entirety of celestial navigation based on your own diagrams and my extensive knowledge of what we've learned over the last 2 years of how we measure Earth flat. I can explain it. I didn't even need any diagrams. You say there's more to it. Well, why didn't you go through your PZX non-triangles then if there's more to it? Surely you could just explain it, given you're a science whiz. Go on, whoever that was from Discord. Someone want to add something? Flat Earth Ranger, go ahead. Or just Bill, whoever it was.
Oh, that was me, sorry.
Were you going to step into mod just Bill? Is that why you're flashing?
No, I received the call and then came off mute.
Yeah, you feel free. But just Bill's just hovering off mute. I just wanted to know if just Bill wanted to add something. Just Bill, can you pop yourself on mute, please? Just Bill.
Sorry, dude.
No worries. Go ahead, Neil.
What's more embarrassing is the flat earther that's going to change his mind because of what this guy put forth. That's embarrassing.
Well, they're arguing about navigation, but we cut out a great big chunk. For all I know, they told him, you realise everything on this is measured flat, and he's just rinsed and repeated it in summary at the end of the debate.
So here there's a celestial sphere centered on an observer at location O. Assume the observer is in the northern hemisphere and the point A represents the north celestial pole about
So
which the
measuring
stars
from a
appear to
flat
rotate.
plane, then.
Oh, it was his own panel interrupting. Sorry.
What's that? So that's how you make a flat, like, so that's how you're making it, because you do need it.
Yeah, he's going through it with him. He's going, yes, I'm measuring a flat plane, which it is. This is flat. Yeah, this diagram doesn't have your globe in it, Dumbo. All you're doing is measuring the flat plane in this diagrammatical example of how we measure Earth. This is the plane we measure. We're taking angle measurements, and the guy in the background's going, measuring it flat then.
It to be flat in order to do the trigonometry, right? So you cut
That's what
the
we
sphere,
said, right?
Yeah, so you cut the
You
sphere
said
in
no
half.
curve.
You cut the sphere in
No,
half
there's no
in order
sphere
to make.
in half.
Just for clarity, the diagram that I'm showing.
Just for clarity, he's pointing out, obviously in the 40 minutes we cut out, he's pointed out to you on multiple times that you have to measure it flat. And when he's reiterating that which you have confirmed, you're cutting him off. Not just conceding your error. Yeah, measured flat, you should be saying, but you're not. Now you've got a cutaway to tell us something. What? Let's just hear his cutaway to get around the fact that he's just rumpus the overriding point that he's measuring Earth flat.
Going on screen there to these guys doesn't do a great job of showing this, but
it doesn't do a good job of showing this. What's this? The guy in the background's pointing out that you're measuring Earth flat, and now you've done a little cutaway at it to say, oh, the diagram doesn't do a good job of showing it. This. Earth measured flat? I'm pretty sure it did a damn fine job of showing you measuring a plane with angles represented in a hemispherical view like a protractor. That needs flat sky, flat ground, and a flat baseline to measure the angle. That's what the guy in the background's pointing out. Your response as a cutaway that you didn't put to him at the time is, this isn't a very good diagram, by the way. Oh, I bet you're a really good lawyer. Yeah, this isn't a very good video of the man committing the murder. Not a very good video, no.
That is what you do, is you use those great circles to cut the sphere first into half, and then you actually create, like...
Sorry, that got flashed up right quick. Sorry, are these the PZX triangles? Like the curve angles that aren't triangles, based on positions plotted from a center point in hell, out through a globe, out to the celestial sphere? Those kind of curved triangles. Yeah, it's strange. If you plot 2 points together on a protractor, they curve. Yeah, but you need original angle measurements to plot the 2 points through the protractor to connect them together on the curve of the protractor. Yeah, your curve angles need a flat Earth to measure to get the points to plot onto the celestial sphere or globe that you're measuring these from the center of. Yeah, no, there aren't such an animal, I covered this already, as curve angle triangles. It's nonsense. Yeah, to get these, you need to measure a flat Earth, baseline and point in sky.
Like kind of a pie slice, a wedge that goes
through the globe Earth to the center of hell.
It includes kind of the surface. And
kind of includes the surface? No, your globe Earth surface would be this. Your celestial sphere would be this. And the point you're measuring along a flat plane would be this, in the center of a globe Earth that isn't depicted. It's just got one section of it. So here's your globe. Here's your celestial sphere. And here's you in hell. On the equatorial plane, measuring an angle with respect to the surface to plot these points out after the fact. You say, take a wedge, take a slice. Yeah, take a slice of a globe Earth so that you can be in the middle of it on a flat plane. That's the slice. This slice of cake is going to leave you with a flat plane. That's what it's going to leave you with. You're not standing in the middle of hell to take cake slices to make your angles work.
And it's a triangle, and then it kind of goes all the way to the center of the Earth. Here's a diagram
of us standing in hell measuring angles. Yeah? Notice I didn't need a diagram to preemptively point out that you're taking these angle measurements like they've come from hell, and we can just take a giant knife to the globe Earth to put us in the center of it to make the angles work. No. We're just measuring angles off a flat Earth. That's all we're actually doing. We don't need you to put us in hell and then take a nice cake slice out so we can pretend we're in the middle of your globe. We're not.
Of that from the
the paper that I'm linking that shows all the derivations and the kind of the proper way to do this.
This is the celestial sphere, my friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. On
Keep
flat
reading. You
plane,
can
where
see how it works, right?
is on the.
So just again, as I say, that the
You're just going to stutter and stammer your way through the guy pointing out that you're measuring with respect to the celestial sphere off a flat plane. You just think that after he's got 2 more words in that just point out you've lost, you need to interrupt with an edit, do you, my friend? Yeah, what's happening here is you stutter and stammer away around the fact that you've lost because your measurements require Earth be measured flat. You're going to take us to your cake slice after the debate in an edit. He's telling you you're measuring a flat Earth, mate. Doesn't need 2 edits within 2 sentences.
math that I'm showing these guys is correct, but
yeah, you are measuring a flat Earth. That's right. It's correct because it's measuring a flat Earth. We're not in the center of hell taking cake slices.
It's incomplete. But it is part of the math that you do need to do, because the way that it actually works is that so you take your observations of different celestial objects, and then by doing that, you can create
off a flat plane. You seem to have left that bit out, my chubby friend. You need to measure a flat Earth to the angles to the stars first. Yeah, that's right. You seem to have skirted around the fact that the guy was pointing out to you the first time that you've added this edit into, that you're measuring a flat Earth to do that. You've just started with that. Well, we'll just measure a flat Earth for angles, and then we use those flat Earth angles to make a sphere with. Let's just hear that again.
It is part of the math that you do need to do, because the way that it actually works is that so you take your observations of different celestial objects, and then by doing that, you can create a model essentially of where on the Earth a particular star, which is not directly above you, where you need to be in order for that star to be directly above you, and then you can.
Well, kind of like I went through 15 minutes ago without any diagrammatical examples required, because I understand it. Yeah, you need stars to be above ground positions along a flat baseline to your position for you to get 90 degrees to the star, below its position to your position for the angle up to the position you're measuring with your angle measuring device. That's called an elevation angle. It's the angle, imaginary line, between you and the celestial object you're measuring and the horizontal plane of reference the observer is standing on. You need to stand on a horizontal plane of reference to take an elevation angle. It's an elevation with respect to how high things are off a flat plane. That's what it is. You brush past it. Yeah, we take our observation of the star. You mean the angle measurement of a flat Earth. That's what you actually mean. Like the guy was pointing out, you've interrupted him with 2 edits. Yeah? But now you think, I'll just brush past that thing that guy's trying to point out to me that I've edited myself into. And say, yeah, we just take our angle off a flat Earth to stars. I just won't mention the flat Earth bit. And then we do our globy stuff. Yeah, we know. Yeah, we're well aware that you measure Earth flat too.
And take the angle of that star and
prove a flat Earth with the angle to the star and measure Earth flat. Yes. Yes, this is where we end our argument. First thing you're going to do, if you're going to assume a globe that you can be in, to take a cake slice from, to wrap it around you, if you take measurements from the equatorial plane through a globe Earth you're not standing on anymore, to an inferred model of a sphere measured off angles off a flat plane, then you must first start, as he's just told you, by measuring Earth flat. That is his starting point. And everybody's starting point. We all measure Earth flat, including this numpty.
Using trigonometry, you can figure out, okay.
Figure out, you mean extrapolate out a globe by way of calculation after measuring Earth flat with these angles? You can figure out that, can you? Yeah, you can turn your flat Earth measurements into your stupid fundy religious belief of a globe. You can figure that out after you've measured Earth flat. Yeah, you can do that. I'll just take your flat Earth measurement that you used in the starting point of your little claim that you're making here. Yeah, the observation of the star, the angle measurement you just mentioned explicitly. That would be a flat Earth proof that you're starting with there, my friend. Who'd have thunk it?
Okay, so if we create a right triangle from the point where that star is directly above the Earth,
then you're measuring a flat Earth.
To me, and I have the angle of that, then I can find the distance from me to that point
on a flat Earth.
On the Earth.
On a flat Earth? because the distance along a straight line is what you're acquiring, and you're acquiring it by measuring an angle with a straight line to a ground position. That's the point below the star at 90 degrees, as you just detailed. If it's 90 degrees to you, it is ipso facto you measuring Earth flat. Ground positions, angle measurements, Earth as a horizontal plane of reference. The only way to do this is to accept, as this man has done, that Earth is measured flat. To have a 90 below the star. 90 to what? You along the ground that's flat.
And then that allows me to draw a circle on the globe. And again,
what's the number? I need the number on it. Is he gone? Goat, I need the number. He says concedes loss, timestamped. Oh, do I just click on it and it'll take me
1
to
hour, 20 minutes.
1 hour and 20 minutes he concedes his loss.
Apparently so.
And it has to be on a globe or the circle will be smushed in the wrong shape.
Good job I cut you off as well. I didn't edit in me when someone else that you've debated with is pointing this out already, that I'm having to reiterate and triple iterate as you say that curve angles now apply. Obviously not. Let's move on to 1 hour, 20 minute mark, because we're already well over the scheduled hour that I normally like to take. Let's go to 1 hour, 19:06 and see from there.
Or we could say it's a celestial sphere or whatever.
Right. But so here's the problem is that, so here's the problem is that it could be, right, if you're where you're standing right now, that the whole of the world is spinning around the North Star and you're not moving, right? That would be fine. But the problem is that when you move on the Earth, Polaris moves. Polaris moves in the sky. And it doesn't move in a straight line in the sky. It moves in a curve in the sky. So, and the thing is too, if we were all of us to look at Polaris in the sky right now, it would be on different points on a curve in the sky at the same time. But if Polaris...
Yeah, I don't know that, guys. That's wrong. No, what you're describing is a glorified protractor. So if you imagine a plane that's at the point that you happen to notice it directly above your head, so you look above your head and you watch the plane, and you know, because you happen to be in contact by radio with the plane, that he's maintaining the same altitude above a flat Earth. It's an elevation above sea level. He's maintaining level flight. Level. Nevertheless, you know that he's the same height above the ground as he moves away from you. Yeah? Now what you do is, sound familiar? You blow up a Zorb ball that you happen to have around you. And you happen to have 0 to 180 marked on the Zorb ball that you're sat inside looking at this plane. And when it's above your head, you go 90, look directly above me. And as it moves away from your position, each time you look at the plane, you mark a point on the Zorb ball. And as it reaches the horizon, because you've got an exceptionally good view, you're up a hill, you see it reach and breach the horizon, you mark it on the 0 point as it disappears. And what do you know, when you get out of the Zorb ball and look back at it, you go, wow, it looks like it moved through a curve. No, you're plotting its points with angles that are measured with respect to a horizontal plane of reference, and then giving a depictorial representation of what you saw. That's 2 parallel planes with a view of a hemisphere, like a protractor. That doesn't mean that as Polaris drops to your perception 1 degree for every 60 nautical miles, that it's following a curved trajectory. It just means that you're marking it through your Zorb ball 1 degree lower than it was when it was at your zenith. That's all it means, as you backed away from it from the North Pole, if you were to do so. And that would continue to happen as you reach 0 at what they call, on a globe, the equator, also known as the minimum elevation angle measurement to Polaris in a latitude system. Go on, someone's off their mic, obviously wants to interrupt. Go ahead. Go ahead, somebody's got their mic open, so somebody wanted to say something, or is just causing chaos for no reason. Nope, somebody just decided to open their mic in the middle of me talking. Fair enough.
Polaris is like, if the stars really are, if we're on a flat plane, then the stars can't be spinning around 8 different points in the sky at the same time. They can only be spinning around one different point in the sky. So that means that it cannot be that it cannot be that the sky is spinning around a point. It doesn't work. The math doesn't work.
Is this our protagonist? Or is this the guy on the... Is this Mr. Anderson? I don't know who's talking.
You should really draw like a diagram. Because if you're right, I mean, you proved it, bro. Good job.
Thanks, man.
It's hard to really visualize what you're saying.
I'm like kind of shocked and amazed that like that guy, I think he's legitimately a flat earther, and he listened to that argument, and you know, like, wow, that kudos to that guy. Like, that was a super intellectually honest, sort of open-minded.
What's he babbling about? That it's difficult to understand what you're explaining, but fine, if you think you've proved something. I think that's the sentiment of what he said. Is he taking this as his victory? What's going on? Is he taking that as a concession? Am I missing something?
I thought he said that the flat Earth guy listened to it and changed his mind.
Oh, he thinks he's had a little victory, does he? I mean, that face is the face of a man who goes, I'm calling this a victory, Judge. Do you agree? Please, God, let her agree. Please, God, let her agree. Look at that face. Is that your victory? I mean, maybe rumpusing the guy pointing out that you're measuring Earth flat a few times and then pointing out that you're acquiring observations of the stars, waffling on a little bit and then saying the angle measurement I got to the stars without mentioning it'd have to be a flat Earth to get them, means that when he says, oh, well, yeah, your description was pretty vague, but yeah, I mean, if you've taken that as a victory, then fine. You've edited that in as your victory with this face. What are you? A lawyer? I have a word for people like this.
Well, it's interesting that his name is Mr. Anderson.
He's a shyster.
Who refers to Neo as Mr. Anderson throughout the Matrix?
Smith.
Yeah, interesting.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, but all the guy had to do was say one time, how'd you get that angle?
He was doing it, and the guy rumpused him to edit in a bit while he's rumpusing him. So the guy's going, yeah, you're telling me about how you're measuring Earth flat here. And he keeps reiterating it while this guy won't shut up through the top of him. And then when that bit comes in the actual chronology of the discussion, he edits himself in to say, yeah, the guy doesn't understand, the diagrams aren't very good. Then we get back to him again saying through the top of this guy, well, this is you measuring Earth flat, mate. This is your measurement of a flat Earth. He then cuts himself in again to say, again, the diagrams aren't very good. And then he moves on. And then we get this vague acknowledgement of his rubbish example as being him taking a little victory dance with this face. Now, mate, when I take a victory dance, you should hear what I do. I definitely wouldn't be pulling this face when I win. Like now! Like with your flat Earth angle measurements that you didn't add in the words flat and Earth when describing them as observations. You Weasley lawyer, you. That's why you've got a face like you're having a big fat poo while saying that you've taken a victory. Me, I've got a big fat grin slapped all over my Chevy Chase when I take a victory. And when someone tries talking through me, I'll shut that right down. So I make everybody aware just how my victory rolled. Maybe reiterate it a few times with a giant shit-eating cheese grin all over my face while I do it. This is not a victory. The guy told you were measuring Earth flat and you ignored him. But you need to make your audience believe that you got a victory out of this? Oh, dear. You're no deception detective, let's be honest.
Reconsideration of his position.
No, I don't think he was doing that, mate. I think you just ignored him pointing out that you were measuring Earth flat and then describing the extrapolation thereafter. Figuring it out, like. I don't think that was a conversion to your globe, mate.
I mean, I think all credit to that guy. And I wish I did have better diagrams, but I mean, I didn't.
I think your diagrams were perfectly adequate, and for me, surplus to requirements. I didn't even need them to describe 90 degrees to a position below a star in the almanac. I gave a verbal description of you standing with 90 degrees perpendicular to a plane of reference to have a zenith, to describe where a positional piece of information 90 degrees to where you could be measuring it from at sea, along a flat Earth, when you make your, what was it you called it? Observation? You mean your flat Earth proving measurement there with the angle along a flat baseline 90 degrees to the point on the ground below a star. Yeah, this is how you really take a victory dance. Just so you know, this is that. Yeah? Your grin doesn't convey the same emotional value when you didn't point out how you were measuring curve angles off a curved surface of a globe Earth with all your diagrams that weren't very good because they didn't show a big enough ball that wasn't being used from hell. Now you verbally described the cake that you'd have to slice into to get your point to measure the angle off a flat Earth in hell. You did a pretty good job, verbally, of undoing your own globe Earth claim that needs flat Earth angle measurements. You were just a bit vague and wishy-washy when it comes to those bits now, weren't you?
Expect to get into like a deep argument about celestial navigation. So
A deep argument? No, I'd be stating facts. Earth measured flat 4 angle. Like the guide did to you. Didn't need deep intellectual discussion. It needed you to comprehend the flat Earth angle you've brushed past and rumpused when it was being pointed out to you. But now we can ponder this all we like with a pause button, can't we? Yeah? Point out how you wouldn't acknowledge what you were chanting through when you measured Earth flat from the centre of hell? Oh yeah, oh, my bad. Diagrams weren't good enough. Yeah. Excellent retort.
Like, kind of didn't have that stuff prepared, but now I do. So, whoever you are, if you ever see this, then like look at that paper and I'll give you all the detail that you want. You'll see that I was not lying to you.
We didn't need it. We had a researcher on the show called 10th Man. He spent about $5,000 on history books, if you want to call them that. That would be to say navigational information throughout the years, dating back several hundred years. Well, a couple of hundred at the most. He spent thousands on these books. You think your crappy, tired old tatty references with the globe Earth for making angle measurements for my argument in hell that you can't acquire your measurements from? What, we could contact you for those diagrams, could we? I think we've got it covered, actually, mate. I think we're good. We don't need any of them to rip you a new one, do we? Yeah, your own words condemned you. You called it observations. Nice and vague, nice and lawyery like. Yeah, they're flat Earth measurements, those observations that you need to start your process off, don't they? Yeah? You'll need a flat Earth for them. So will everyone. We'll get a couple more seconds off him and then we'll round this out.
Yeah, I'm just, yeah, like.
You seem to just have this shtick of just pointing things out and saying, that can only happen if ball. Like, that's kind of all you do. You know.
This guy, on the other hand, sounds like he takes a little bit more convincing. Maybe it'll just take him longer.
Really justify it.
Well, what I'm saying is, here's my challenge to you, is, sit down and with it, maybe you'd have to look up, like, some more trig, and, like, it's complicated trig. It is. And, like,
yeah, it's too complicated for you, even, because you were asked for, like, an hour to post any of it, and then you just responded with, man, it's complicated, man.
Right, but I did find it. Yeah. I did find it, and it is hard. I'm not going to lie to you. I struggle with it myself.
It's just, like...
Yeah, if we're doing trig, we're dealing with triangles, aren't we? Right? 90 degrees to the position. This guy understands how Earth is measured flat now. Yeah? They're feeling like he's got some victory over some numpty and some server that he's never going to meet again. That doesn't win you the globe, though, does it, when your angle measurements are off a plane? Anyway, who's got any comment? And then we'll round out and invite people to stay tuned if they're watching on an after show. Go ahead.
Why would they be doing trigonometry if they're doing celestial navigation?
They wouldn't.
And what's this spherical trig? What's trigonometry anyway?
Study of triangles.
So, where's that don't go together, spherical trigonometry. What's that called, the oxymoron?
Yes.
And I didn't hear the guy concede to anything. So I don't know what he's dancing around for.
Well, I'm sure you'd welcome to a discussion, wouldn't you, Nathan?
With this guy, I've covered everything he's covered. I've got it on screen for my audience now with PZX triangles in a nice exploded view with a nice big ball Earth showing that the angles are originating in hell. Yeah? Globe. Center of Earth. GP, that's ground position. We're going to get ground positions measured from hell, are we? No. PZX triangle, exactly as I described. Star emanating through a globe Earth from the center, exactly as I described when he showed his cake wedge. Here's his cake wedge, but just with the globe that he didn't put in his diagrams. I don't need to go to him to get good diagrams to explain how their angle measurements off a plane are then claimed to originate in the center of hell. Now, I don't need any help with that. I can show it really easily. It's on screen right now for my audience.
No, my point is that you'd welcome him on the show because he's already on Discord. So the start of the show is how Discord works, how you get on. Well, he's already done that. He knows. So hopefully he'll be here tomorrow.
Maybe. He's been let know by my audience at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. And if he's toddle along and listen to the show, he'll know that we acquire these angles on screen now from a flat plane. It's the, quote, observation he described right at the beginning of the process that he was detailing for a globe that we're not measuring angles from. And then he described it quite adequately when he described a cake slice. And no one's measuring angles from hell. We measure them off a flat earth. And here's his cake slice. He'll need a flat earth for it. We've pointed it out. If he wants to come in and tell me, yeah, the, quote, observation that we take on a flat earth doesn't mean earth's flat. He can do that if he wants to. I mean, we'll all laugh at him. Hey, John.
Hey, I just got 5 minutes real quick. The above statement he made about the stars requires a horizontal plane of reference, and also the statement that he made about the PZX triangles. And, you can believe the sky's curved if you want to, but it still requires a horizontal plane of reference. See you guys.
Yeah, you can believe that the plotted points I described with the Zorb ball are actually representative of the points in the sky curving. But to describe them that way in either event still requires a horizontal plane of reference to describe them as curving through the sky, or what you're actually doing, which is measuring two parallel planes with a protractor between the two. What I'm using as a Zorb ball example.
It's funny because you always, we detail this over and over and over. I was having a conversation with Humble H. I told him the same thing, and he said, "Really? Wait. So you're telling me, pregnant pause, you're telling me that it's a plane in the sky too? Oh my God!"
Yeah, he's annoying.
I don't know what's up. I don't know what's up with these. I'm on your side, guys, but there's something that's very wrong with this information. Get a life.
Well, they use it too. They need a flat Earth more than we do. To plot these positions on this diagram, they need to measure angles off a flat Earth. They're observations, if you brush past that fact. In reality, they're the point that we all measure Earth to start any of these processes, including globe belief. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering streams, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow.
And 5 people went through it with him. Then finally Nathan got on and asked him a few questions. And he turned around and said, "Why are you talking to me? You're breaking your own rules, Nathan." Like, the guy is like, and before that, he said, "As of this moment, I am a flat earther." Because Johnny came on and said, "What are you being so dramatic for? What's the drama?" Johnny, the captain of the fisherman's boat. He said, "What are you being so dramatic for? As of now, you're a flat earther? Oh, gee, thank you."
Mic check.
Hey, oh, hello.
Hello, 10th man.
What's
2 days in a row.
What's up, man?
I'm a little behind. I just started watching because I had to pause it when it started. But I saw the part where this person showed 2 images back to back when he was talking about the curved sky. Do you know where that is, Nathan? Can you pull that up?
I'm just scrolling my way through. It was in the second section, which was at the, let's just scroll back up, 40-minute mark. So it's going to be at 40-something, isn't it? I'll see if I can find
Yes.
it. You're talking about the 2 curve angles laid on top of actual angles.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so.
We got news for these ballers. They need to go invest in some celestial navigation books. Tell me when you have it for the audience. I took screen captions, so I'm going to go to my screen captions. So if I don't see it, I can describe it.
thank you for your investment of time and resources, money, because a lot of this stuff is behind the paywall, man. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Eli. That's why I bought the books, bought the instruments. That way, if 1984 ever happens, I got the goods.
That's right. Thank you for the silver bullet, Ted.
Okay, Tonto.
I think I'm nearly there. Otherwise, I'm going to struggle to find it. I'll have to ask you for a screenshot if it's not after this.
I'm going to send you both screenshots. They're a little fuzzy, but then he'll show you where it's at. But let me go ahead and send you both screenshots.
Okay. If I do happen to find it in the meantime, I'll tell you.
All right. I'm going to put it in
I got
Master
it.
B.
Arcs of great circles, tangent line of segments. Yeah?
Hold on. Let me go back to... it's the one that shows the circle that's a flat disk and the PZX triangle is being discussed. You got the North Pole, which is the Z, and then you got the observer zenith, which is the M, it looks like, and then the GP of the star.
Yeah, I'm obviously on the wrong diagram. Okay,
Let me send it to you.
I'll go off the one you sent.
Yes, post it in Master B because I want it.
Okay, they're not good images, but we can always get the right ones later. Hold on. We'll go boom, boom. Add. Coming your way.
Got it.
All right.
Okay.
All right, let me get to my picture. Okay, see the first one with the circle, the black and white, and it says at the bottom, does that say prospective viewers of the GP? What does it say? Figure 5 at the bottom, can you read that?
No, it's too fuzzy.
Okay. All right, well, let me explain this. So we know you cannot have an elevation angle up from the horizon without a shared baseline that gives you the elevation angle. This is geometry. This cannot be in any way defeated. Okay, so that's the silver bullet right there, right? So as you can see here in this image, the dotted lines coming from the curved pizza slices, I can't help but say that, of the inner concave surface of the imaginary celestial sphere. I hope that was slow and clear enough for all the ballers.
Yes.
Okay, so what you're doing with perspective is you're seeing, let's use a star rising at the horizon, or the sun even. It's at 0. It's just sun is rising. Eventually it gets to your 90, your zenith position. Now it's directly above you. Then it goes back down to 0 to a 180. And that's what this image is showing. It's showing that it rose to a certain place in the sky, but it goes from 0 to 90 to 180. It has to. And that's in all the books. Okay, so what he's got here is he's got the North Pole right in the middle, vertical, the Z. This is the PZX. Now, this is going to be fantastic. So the observer is standing, he's looking, and he gets the star he wants to use, one of the 64 navigational stars. And then they use this Haversine formula for the transformative math to take the perspective view of how it looks to the observer in the inner concave arc of the imaginary, and notice that word they use, because it is imaginary, because it's just perspective. Stars are moving in a straight line. They are, because guess what? When it's at your 0, it's at somebody's 90. Okay, so here we go. Then they use this Haversine formula with the PZX formula. They're joined twins. And they peel that inner concave pizza surface and bring it down and say that's the globe you're standing on. But the globe you're standing on is the flat disk where you got the elevation angle from. It's not a globe at all, because you can't get an elevation angle if you stood on a globe.
Right, like in this
Notice-
last diagram. So it shows the observational star. And then you've got the angle down to the ground, the vertices point that you're measuring from, and then a line out to Y along a flat baseline for this circle of equal elevation. And then you've got plotted through the points of the various different stars, the celestial sphere pizza slice dangling, because it's only showing that part of the celestial hemisphere in this instance. And then below it, you've got the globe Earth section that they say you're standing on, like the cake slice the guy described. That's this.
Yeah,
Just show this. This is the cake slice. Oops. This line here, this line here, to all these different stars that would be measured for your Haversine and then your globe.
Being summoned here, but you can see the dotted lines coming straight down to create the 90-degree box on that flat disk. That's the Earth.
Oh, I didn't spot that. Yes. So down here from M to this unmarked point here, dotted line.
I'll be right
got
back.
it. And here, GP, it says in the sky. I notice it's put the GP point up on the celestial sphere, and then down on the ground at 90, back to your position where you're measuring. So the GP is not up in the sky. Love it. But that's the globe, like we said. That's where they're putting the globe. They've marked it wrong though, because this one would be the globe. Anyway, thanks, Tenth.
No, I'm back. Hold on. Yeah, so you can see they need
missed
the
the whole thing. Oh, Jesus.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so they got the 90-degree on the ground, which is obviously there with the what? The box that shows 90 degree. Well, what is a 90 degree? It's perpendicular. So all the references to perpendicular have to deal with the disk that they're using in this image. It has to be flat. It has to be a 180 straight angle. So we're proving that celestial navigation requires 90 degrees on the Earth's surface, which you can't get if it's curving. It requires perpendicular relationship, which means a vertical and a horizontal, which you can't get if it's an Earth's surface. So what they did, they peeled back the perspective inner concave surface pizza slice from the perspective of the imaginary celestial sphere and made that the Earth's surface.
Yeah, very good. Thank you. Perfect.
Okay.
Good,
Well,
excellent,
bye.
excellent explanation. Couldn't have said it better myself. Tenth man, ladies and gentlemen. Short and sweet.
The 10th man rising. Coming back.
Good choice, Sensual. Very good choice.
Yeah, ended up being. I was quite surprised.
I love the way they just brush past it. In years gone by, they'd have got away with it, right? But that guy who's in that server has obviously watched Flat Earth debate. He's punting our argument, right? So he's there punting that argument, and the guy he's opposing, the videographer, Mr. Anderson, cannot quite believe what's happening. And he's got to fish out some perceived win out of a guy going, oh, all right, well, if your crap example is what you believe in, I don't think he's done a great job of explaining, but fine, if you think that proves a globe, then fine. See? What a wonderful gentleman, conceding in the way he has. What? Okay. What about all the times you rumpus in pointing out you measured Earth flat for this observation, this angle measurement that you took from a flat Earth? You know, like in the cake slice, the flat bit that was left would be the ground that you measured the angle along. It's not the cake slice surface that you're extracting out. That's not the surface we get the angle from, though, is it? It's the ground position, baseline, right? Flat. That's where we really get it. He didn't really want to admit to that, though, did he? Just demeaned it as just the observation we start with. Just that little observation that we need to begin this process. Flat Earth is needed for everyone.
The flat earther that the shithouse lawyer thought he convinced wasn't a flat earther, it was a glober. It was G. Platypus.
Oh, is that who he was talking to? Platypus. Oh, I love it. G. Platypus, the guy who handed over $200 to Divergent Droid.
Yep.
Okay. Well, what a wonderful non-condemnation of a globe earther in that respect. Wonderful, wonderful. Meanwhile, Earth measured flat for the angles. Observation, sorry. Better just demean them by not describing what they actually are to them. We'll call them angle measurements later when no one pays attention to the fact that they're off the ground with ground positions like this on screen now. Then no one will notice. Other than the people who were putting it to him and he was rumpusing. They noticed. They put it to him. They knew it was measured Earth flat. They put it to him. Kudos whoever you were in that show. Whoever the guy was putting it to him, props.
Well, that was our guys from 24/7, Nathan. Not sure if you guys heard. That was Radwin and Miggy at the beginning. Not sure who it was later.
Top work.
But, yeah,
top
that's
work.
all. Yeah.
Outstanding.
And Heretic right at the end, where he said you didn't provide anything. And I seen that GP in the sky. I was wondering, why you had ground positions in the sky?
It's because it's the Haversine conversion ground position. So that celestial sphere ground position is where you're going to claim that the celestial sphere gives you the point below the star, but then putting it above the star at the top of the tippy top of the vertex for that angle, coming down to the 90. So they've marked that as GP position after Haversine conversion, because they're then going to put the globe inside that celestial sphere. But if you then put the ground position on the sphere itself, which is the inside layer of that cake, it isn't meeting the ground position on the ground anymore. So you can't label that as the ground position. I thought about it after I'd said it on the live stream. Why have they put it on the celestial sphere in the sky? Well, they can't put it on the globe. And I said it was an error. No, it's not. They can't put it on the globe. It doesn't meet the ground at 90 anymore. Taken 2 conversions to get it to that diagram, hasn't it? Still need the angle measurement to be the angle measurement. That's the whole point of the process. So yeah, it meets the ground position on the celestial sphere protractor. It looks stupid and is.
How'd they drill down to the center of the Earth to get to the equatorial plane?
Imagine we're taking a slice of cake. Do you imagine it? That's how you do it. It's easy.
Do they take their sextants down there? Can we see somebody do this?
Or maybe we can get Mr. Anderson to do this for us. So I get you. You take your cake slice to get this angle to work in a globe that you said was on a globe. In a globe, on a globe. I mean, it's just semantics. Anyway, in a globe, let's see you do it. Oh, what? You need the observation of an angle measurement off a flat Earth first, with a little bit of gap in between. So it's not obvious that it's an angle measurement / observation off a flat Earth that starts this process off. So you can put it in hell afterwards, after you got the angle off a flat plane. Yeah, they don't measure angles in hell. They transpose them into hell after they get them off a flat plane. But I like where you're going. Well, show us you measuring it in hell then. Yeah, they don't do that. They convert it into that hell in a globe that's not actually being used in the process at all. After conversion and Haversine formula. Oh, by the way, QE, if you do need some documents on celestial navigation, Mr. Anderson's happy to give them to you. What with us not having any and all? Just thought you'd like to know.
Who's Mr. Anderson?
The guy we're covering, he was very keen to let his audience know that should you need any of the documents that he belittled for not being very good, and if you want the better ones that he didn't use, you can contact him, so you can get a better idea of how right he was.
I'd like to see the complicated trigonometry.
Someone covered that already. They're like, if this isn't Trig, I think it was Neil. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. That was a good video to cover.
It was a shame he didn't disclose what the server's name was, but he's inadvertently advertised the idea of people going onto Discord and talking to flat earthers.
No, he repeated that he was a lawyer and he wanted people to use some of the tools that he uses in lawyering and apply them to life. He repeated that about 4 times instead, because people couldn't understand it the first time he said it. But no.
And then the first thing he did was beg the question.
Yeah, but he didn't promote the 24/7 Flat Earth Discord server that he was in. He just disrespectfully rumpused their points that beat his points and then edited in various other crap of him, distracting from the point that made him lose, with his own edits after the fact. Yeah. I mean, I think it's sometimes I go, is it a bit unreasonable to edit out this little section of silence where there's a bit of a protracted gap because it doesn't flow very well? So I'll hack that bit out of this video. Or this little interruption from Neil's kind of a bit inaudible, but do I lose any context by getting rid of this? I'll have to think about it for a minute. Do I just keep it with the interruption? Yeah, I think I will. Those are the kind of thought processes I go. This guy, do I need to edit myself in here directly after the guy's beaten me with a point that I'm rumpusing so I can make an adjacent point on top of the video with a separate edited video that isn't the debate? Yeah, I think I will. Not at all unreasonable. I'll give my own colour commentary to my own debate as a distraction where I'm rumpusing the point that I lost to. Perfectly reasonable. These people, man, just another level of scumbaggery in everything that they do.
The scumbaggery comes after the delusional Dunning-Kruger.
Well, it's automatic like a defense mechanism. I suspect this might be Dunning-Kruger delusional numpty nonsense that I don't really understand and have pretended to for the last 20 minutes. So I'm just going to engage in a bit of shithousery so that hopefully no one notices. Because then I won't have to contemplate it, let's be honest.
It's an antecedent-consequent relationship.
If numpty Dunning-Kruger, then bullshittery and shithousery.
Affirmative.
It is so freaking hot in here. I don't know how much longer I can bear this show. So if there's any protracted silences, I'm just going to round out because I am sweating buckets.
Hello. Am I allowed to suggest a debate opponent to you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a guy on YouTube. I'm a very big fan of him on many things, except he's a glober. His name is on YouTube is Liquid Zulu. He has debates a lot. It would be cool if you could debate him. He has like 6,000 subscribers, maybe. Wonder if you're interested.
Sorry, I thought you were talking about you. What would I be interested in?
Oh, debating a glober on flat Earth.
That's the show I run. Yes.
Oh yeah. I mean, he has his own show. I'm asking if you're willing to appear on his stream or whatever.
You're asking me on behalf of some rando if I will go to some rando I've never spoken to's channel to debate them. No. I mean, if you want to tell him to come here, where I run a debate show and that earns me my living, then yeah. But you're suggesting I should give up my time to go and debate some rando you're suggesting that I've never heard of. Why would I want to do that?
Maybe not. It was just a question.
Go to him and tell him.
Fine.
Say, go to this flat Earth server. Tell them it's a globe if you think it's a globe. Prove to them it's a globe. They're the ones smashing people around, point out it isn't. As for me, I've got nothing to prove. I don't have to prove anything to this guy. If he wants to believe it's a globe, that's more power to him. If he's running his own debate, then more power to him, or he technically becomes a competitor. But that's fine also.
All right. Would you do it if I put a bounty on it?
If you paid me, I'm a total whore.
Nice. I mean, that's good. What about $50? I'll pay in advance.
Taking over at Nathan's age. You dare insult my client again with a $50.
I have been paid to do debates before. I haven't actually disclosed which ones. but they're like, will you do this debate? I will pay
payment
you.
for debate. Are you insane?
Yeah, I'm poor.
$50.
I wouldn't do it for $50 now.
Not for $50. Come on, wipe your ass with that.
Neil, thank you for speaking on my behalf so crudely. No, thank you very much for the offer, though. I appreciate it. But no, I am actually better off spending those 2 hours running my own show. That's actually more profitable to me. So as much as I'm touched and flattered that you'd be so keen as to offer money, it proves you're prepared to put your money where your mouth is at the very least. But no, it just wouldn't be enough. Sorry. Brian's limit's like 1,500 quid or 1,500 euros. Mine is nowhere near as high as that, but it depends on the person. In other instances,
Brian, put the price tag.
Maybe you should tell them, Neil. Go ahead.
Brian, put a price tag on it.
No, I will talk with you later. But there's some question I have to point to. No, it's real. It's real. I have to point it to Nathan. He's doing great. He's doing very, very great. And that's what I really want to talk about. There's something new I was thinking about. Is if the Globers is thinking about they are flying through the space on a ball, then how can we measure the Earth flat in the same time?
That makes no sense. Number one, you can't fly through space on a ball. That's a contradiction in terms. And then following that contradiction in terms, you're asking how you can measure Earth flat if you're flying on a ball. Try again.
No, that's what I'm saying is, then you have all the stars, and you are going through all the system that they're talking about, the heliocentric system, screwing through it, and around the sun, around this and that. And in the same time, all the stars are in time, in the same place, everywhere.
I think I see what you're driving at.
24 hours a day.
What you're saying is,
okay.
There's a contradiction in respect to if you're on the ground on a globe, then the reason that you've got this positional data as the stars move with respect to the surface as described by navigational processes, they can blag that it's actually the plane of reference that is a turning Earth after using a horizontal plane of reference to describe the effect. Once you leave that turning frame of reference, that would suggest that your positional data becomes surplus, useless, right? Because you've no longer got the plane of reference that is being referenced on the ground, regardless of if it's that as the turning frame of reference or not. So when the astronauts for the Apollo missions quite literally show you their star charts and hold up their sextants, it's a contradiction in terms, is what you're saying, Johnny. I think I follow.
Yes, absolutely. And why should they use sextant? And they say that, they have sextant to get the elevation to star to know where they're going. Everything's so stupid. But I don't want to. I don't have to talk about that. That's what I'm pointing out is absolutely obvious. That is, if you are flying through the space and corkscrewing around the sun or going after the sun also, that has a different ellipse. Okay, that I don't have to talk about that. That's what I'm talking about. Time. You have to take the time. You take the elevation angle. You have the baseline to the horizon and to the GP. And then you take the time exactly as you have the sun down to the horizon and GP line in front of you. How is that possible if you're corkscrewing through the space and then everything has to be...
It doesn't. You're fishing for the word, then it'd have to be not working correctly. Yeah.
If we beg the question, it doesn't work.
In a different...
Because the model itself is extrapolated from the flat plane measurements to transpose those flat Earth measurements onto a sphere that you've created after the fact. So if you then take that after the fact model and then try and create a world around that model of spinning balls hurtling through sky vacuums and then try and get that to actually tally with the world that you are originally measuring to create the model, it doesn't tally. You can take it too far. If you use the heliocentric model for what is originally intended, it's reasonably good at what it does. But it doesn't infer that the ground you're standing on sphere, when you've extrapolated out that sphere, just makes no sense. And it won't work that way either. With the twisting, I know what you're describing. You're describing us moving around the great attractor in the Milky Way, with us in the Milky Way orbiting the sun. You've got about 5 different axes of motion.
Exactly. Or maybe more.
Yeah, I was just guessing 5. It's probably more.
What model is this you're talking about?
The asymptotic
What
flat
I'm
plane
talking about,
described with the extrapolation out with the CMB and the expanded universe beyond the heliocentric universe. So beyond the solar system and beyond the Milky Way, you've got a further axis of movement around something called the great attractor in the heliocentric model. It's a description only, but it's an ascribing of different axes for different motions on different planes. The overall plane is the asymptotically flat plane that John was describing, the refracted curvature.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to point out.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, Neil.
No, go
I
ahead,
just
Johnny.
want to get this
He was
point.
asking a tangent question. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Johnny.
we can talk about. I just want to everybody understand, because I am not so clear, and I am not the best speaker in the world in English either. So I'm just trying to let everybody understand that everything that is moving above us, star, the sun, the moon, has been timed. And if you are in one position and you can measure it from the time it is, in that, then you can also calculate the distance from one point to other point. And also because of a circular latitude intersect into each other, it can never happen if you're flying in the space on a space ball. Then you will never get the same time like a clock. That will never work. So I'm telling you that everything is timed. It's timed. Therefore, it is impossible that you are spinning in a different directions. Then you cannot have the same time for every star, every day, every minute, every hour. So
no, we need the plane of reference.
Exactly,
we need the plane of reference that was utilised to put those positional datas with GP points in the almanac. As soon as you move away from that reference, all bets are off for them. Yes.
That is the point that we have never talked about really. We have to take the time in and how everything is timed. And if you do that, you are very, very great. Everything that you're doing just now, Nathan, I love it. But yeah, that's very, very important details that you have to take into into your talking points.
Yeah.
And thank you for that you're doing. And I will talk with Neil now and answer him about the ether. And
no, we're all good.
I will
Thanks.
tell you,
no, thanks anyway.
No, I will just tell him I have nothing to do with ether anymore. It's over. It doesn't matter. It has nothing to do with that.
Thank you. I don't care. Do what you like. Don't care. I don't know why you're telling us this.
But my ether has been hijacked, so I have nothing to do with it.
I don't care either. Wait, Johnny. I don't care either. But when you say it's scientifically validated, that's where I got an issue.
I never say that. I never say that, Neil. You're lying now. I never say that.
Well, stop. You've already triggered Neil, and now won't shut up, so he's going to cause audio chaos. No, good. Well, I think I'll take that to mean I won't be boring the pants off you and irritating you all to all hell with feigned enthusiasm for ether because you've got a vague interest in it, which you no longer have. That's what I'll take that to mean.
Yeah, and I am not following these guys that's making a lot of things about it and hijacking it and saying it is this and that. I'm not making any big things of it. It's just The only thing I was talking about the ether is, yeah, there's something is going through something, and
here
we have to
we
know what
go.
it is. That's all. That's all.
Okay, that's all.
Nothing more.
Jolly
I don't
good.
know.
We'll talk about something else then. Jolly good.
I get it.
Okay.
I get it too. Well, thank you for that, Johnny.
Everyone's overall premise is nothing can exist. We're all actually agreed on that.
No. Let's focus on his 5-minute ramble rather than the last bit at the end, which is lovely to hear that he's lost interest, which is good because there's nothing to back it. Fine. But ultimately, he's talking about measuring angles with respect to the ground and how that won't work in space. Now, obviously, we're having to brush past the automatic assumption of sky vacuums in order to do that, which we're happy to do. I've just pointed it out, right? So it's done after the fact. But Johnny's got a valid point. When you do see them on these missions claiming that they're going to be carrying sextants into space, you're like, well, with what frame of reference?
They have no frame of reference if they are going in a different directions in the different angles all over the place. No, they don't. So there you have it.
Yeah, good point. Thank you. That's the bit I wanted to focus on. That's all I was shutting you down for, rather than taking his final point, which was probably done as a little jab between our ribs to get us all annoyed a little bit, and it worked on Neil. Thank you, Johnny. The rest of it, fantastic.
No. It worked on me. If he said science, but he said, no, he did, because he went through it with you, and he couldn't. But that's fine. But I like what he was saying. Johnny's spot on.
All righty then.
Thank you, Neil. Thank you, Neil. So now everybody can focus on the right things and just keep on the facts. And,
hey, Johnny, I especially liked when you told freaking Humble H, stop being so dramatic.
But sometimes we have to. But yeah, it's too much dramatic. And if everybody is shouting the same thing, it can be too much. We have to be very, very careful and to be echo chamber somehow. We have to be able to talk with each other very harshly. So that's all.
Yeah, I don't think anybody gets through to him. He's got an agenda, Humble H, so nobody's going to get through to him. No matter how many times you explain it to him, he's going to come back with the same thing because you're going to go talk to Bacon. Bacon's going to tell him something, and he's going to come back here and tell us how we're all wrong. Sort of like what lumpy gas in a vacuum does.
Who are you talking about? What are you talking about? I don't understand. No, what are you talking about?
Humble H.
Just now. Who are you talking about?
Forget it. If you don't remember, forget it. You were doing a show. It was going on in Discord. The Humble H guy.
Oh, Humble H.
A couple of weeks ago.
No, I don't know him so much. Oh, I lost that. I wasn't there. Okay.
You were there.
Was I? Oh, that guy. Yeah. I was. Yeah. Okay. I have so many people I'm talking to. It's crazy. And that is the highest. Nobody really understands. That is about how it is measured. It is about the celestial navigation. That is how to use the sextant. Use very, very simple instrument that cannot be manipulated. It's just there, black and white, straight on, with elevation angle, with a straight line, 90 degrees, right angle triangle, time, and circle of equal altitude around the GP. That is the way to measure Earth flat. How?
It's called game, set, match, Johnny.
Maybe people have to do some work to understand. Spherical triangle is not real in reality. There is no spherical triangle. Never, ever. And just like Nathan Oakley says,
When
you
did
have to
that?
you have to
Does
make a
anybody know
triangle
when that
from the
started?
hell.
When did spherical trigonometry come out? Like, what is the genesis of it? Why, and what's the purpose of it?
It is for the navigation and for all the system how to point the points in the terra, that is the land that we're living on, that has been measured flat so far we know. If they are saying that it's a spherical, then they are using a flat measurement. That, for example, that's E-Loran. E-Loran came before GPS.
Humble, can
And
you pop yourself
E-Loran
on
GPS
Humble?
is the same thing.
Hold on, Humble's guy's mic wide open.
You probably heard his name mentioned.
That's fine, as long as he doesn't cause audio chaos.
Yeah, E-Loran is using intersecting in circles and circles that intersect to each other, and that's the same system, absolutely the same system. That
Are you saying Loran?
E-Loran, ancient Loran. C. Loran was in the Second War, and that was just using cell towers and so on between the ship. But now it has been enchant. It can be used by air traffic or whatsoever. They also use it with drones and high altitude whatsoever they want to be high altitude. There's many ways to let things be in high altitude and control it. It can be balloons, it can be solar planes, it can be drones, it can be this and that. It doesn't matter. The matter is there is technique for that, and we can have something in the high altitude over 1 year without doing anything with it. So there's no satellites need. And if they are saying that, oh, we are using satellites, then that's not practical. Why should they use satellites if it's not practical? Just that. Of course, I don't have to say it, but just for a joke, I can say it. Why should they use satellites? There are other cheap technique that you can use. You don't need satellites. But of course, they're in satellites because you cannot orbit the Earth. You can orbit the Earth in a circle, but that is not orbit. That's not my understanding in the English word orbit. Maybe somebody else can teach me about that. Orbit has to go up and under.
Can I have a chat with Neil?
Yeah.
Neil?
Ooh, before you do, I just want to mention that you missed the part where, remember when you were like, oh, so it's a plane in the sky too? Yeah, we went over that, but I think you missed it. Anyway, moving on. Neil?
I'm breaking my own rules by talking to you. What can I do for you, Humble H?
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, that's fine then.
Well, I mean, he asked you what he can do for you. It's a beautiful summer day. It's a new day. Oh, you know, he's being amicable. Let's lead with love. Go on and Tell him what he can do for you.
Okay, there are 3 points that are used to get the angle measurement that you need in order to draw your circle of equal elevation. Can you tell me what those 3 points are?
Go look it up in a book.
Okay, thank you. I will. Okay.
That was fun.
I don't play those silly freaking reindeer games. Come in here genuine. Maybe we'll have a discussion.
Well, I mean, I just said we were leading with love, Neil. Like, so on an educational show such as this one, when someone asks a question, we answer for the audience's benefit, right?
How many times was it answered?
For the audience's benefit, because every day is a new day.
Look it up in a book, Humble H.
He don't get it. Okay.
I'll answer it. Go ahead. I haven't talked to him in a while. Go ahead. What's your question?
The 3 points that are used to attain the angle measurement that we use to draw out the circle of equal elevation.
What angle was that specifically?
There are 3 points to the angles, right? Where are
There's
they?
3 points. Yeah. What type of angle is that?
That's what we're trying to figure out.
We're trying to
But if
figure
we
out
know
what
where
type
they
of
are,
angle. We're trying to figure out what type of angle that you said that we got first. How did we get it first?
I'm just looking right.
Are we really in kindergarten school where somebody's asking the question, what type of angle is one that's got 3 points?
Why do you think I told him look it up in a book?
Are we asking what a triangle is?
Okay, I will. Okay, let me do it this way then. Would you disagree that there's one point on the Earth where you're standing? The second point is at your zenith, and the third point is over to the star.
Incorrect.
Those are incorrect?
Yep.
Okay, then I stand corrected. Okay. Thank you.
Joe,
you did reference an elevation angle, didn't you? Not just, yeah?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, so incorrect then.
So if I have an elevation angle of 30 degrees, right? That's the angle measurement I use when I go to draw my circle of equal elevation.
Oh, but wait a second. We got to stop first.
Incorrect again.
What is an elevation angle?
I'm just asking a simple question. If it's 30 degrees, the elevation angle.
Yeah, I heard you the first time. What is an elevation angle? You mentioned it. Can you define it?
Yes.
Go ahead.
It's an angle from the horizon to the celestial object.
That's partly correct.
Is there any mention of the zenith in that description that you've so eloquently just provided us?
Oh no, I'm.
Why
listen,
would you have cited zenith before then, Humble? Why, when you've got a perfectly good definition that nobody disagreed with, would you first come in there trying to imply that the zenith is one of the 3 things for an elevation angle? Are you trying to be deceptive or just demonstrating that you're probably a bit stupid? Which is it?
Oh no. Well, let me explain then. Maybe I misled you.
Just pick an answer. Are you being a little bit stupid or being a little bit deceptive? You need to pick a point here, just so I know what I'm dealing with as we move forward. A retard or a dishonest person?
Okay, so it's on record then.
So which am I dealing with then? A retard or a dishonest person? You're the guy that came in with a question that you've already demonstrated was a tricksy question by you giving the correct definition. So just so we can carry on, H, are you retarded or a deceiver? Which is it?
The latter. See, the problem is, Humble H, you talk to ballers and you let them get inside your head instead of sitting here and getting educated in what celestial navigation is and what it could validate. Earth being flat. Wake the frick up.
Well, he walked in and he said there's 3 points. Your point where you're standing on the earth, your zenith, and then a point to the star. That's not a triangle, number one, and that's not an elevation angle. Simple. That's why Adam's asking you the question.
I got a question for Humble H. Do you find 10th man to be an honest man?
Neil, can H? We don't need to proceed with H anymore until he gives us the clarification. He's coming, right? And there's 2 possible ways he's coming. He's either coming to deceive us all, yeah, or he's retarded. So I just need to know which it is so we can then carry on.
He's not going to answer you, Adam.
Well, then don't put another question to him.
Well, he's claiming that he's Christian. So I just had a simple question. Do you find 10th man to be an honest man?
Like I said, Neil, I mean, or give him a get out, Neil. Just hand him the get out so he doesn't have to deal with the sticky thing by asking him what his opinion of Neil is, of 10th man is. Do you get what you're doing? Yeah? Stay on part, stay on target. He's got a dichotomy to answer. Make him answer it.
Yeah, but Adam, I know he's not gonna.
And if he's not going to, don't give him the additional get out then. That's my point, Neil. Yeah? Hold him to task. He's come in, thinking he's clever, he's presented something to us, which in doing so, after being asked for the definition, has demonstrated that he is either a liar or a deceiver. And for us to move forward, we just need a bit of clarity on
that. No, he said you said retarded or a deceiver. I said the latter. Okay, I understand, Adam. I'll wait. The floor's yours, Humble.
You name drop them every day. You want their answers specifically. This is your time to say, hey, what is your answer, Humble?
I know what he does. I'm very aware what he does.
I mean, should be just be an honest atheist.
You do name drop every day. Humble, where you at? You still there? I know you are.
Eli's the love brother today.
No, just be quiet. I don't want to hear nothing but humble. Are you there, or are you gonna play possum? Hey, humble, are you still there?
No, I think it's
No.
disappeared. Sorry.
Beta. Yeah, Humble left the
Told you.
voice chat.
Yeah, Adam called him retarded.
My assessment was spot on because that's what he does. So anybody that wastes their time with him is doing exactly what I just said, wasting your time.
You know what's funny? AI literally told me the same thing.
About Humble, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because how many people went over it with him? I kept popping into a members only show Nathan was having. I kept popping in, and I'm telling you, if 5 different people didn't explain the same thing to him, I'll be lying. And then Nathan came on and asked him why he didn't respond to anything anybody was saying.
Mm-hmm. Put one on my neck.
You're off mute.
Eli. Yeah, I remember it. Did he just pull the same thing now? Or shooting people in the face?
No, what I was trying to say is, and then when you came in to ask him, he comes off with some nonsense that you're breaking your own rules by talking to me, Nathan. I mean, come on. Why are we even dealing with this guy?
Well, it's good for the audience to have a repetition of how people will turn, a simple conversation into whatever he just did. Sorry, I lost my words, but like the bottom line is
I agree.
When we're talking about elevation angles, literally the whole of the internet, other than this corner right here, wants to distract people away from what an elevation angle is to talk about everything else. So when we're doing what we're doing here in repetition, it gives people the confidence in knowing, no, I've heard it a million times. I have a million different citations. I've seen a million different videos. I've heard them argue it a million different ways from Sunday. An elevation angle is pretty simply defined. And what you're talking about is not that. So good day, sir. That's how I'd like people to respond, not be confused about something that's very simple and is well defined.
Right, but Eli, what causes confusion?
It's not confusion. It's misrepresentation. He came in, tried to mug us off at the 3 points, yeah, i.e. the 2 lines where they are contained within for an elevation angle. He then went on to try and mug you off with a description of what would be a co-angle, right? Because that way you don't have to have a flat baseline, do you? Yeah. And then he then, when challenged, proceeded to give a perfectly reasonable and correct description of an elevation angle, showing he's not here to learn, he's here to try and trip somebody up, as demonstrated, or, as I said, the other option, he's a retard.
Well, not confused. What causes people to become deceivers? If you hang out with deceivers, you are a deceiver. Show me your friends and I'll show you who you are. Excluding Jesus, of course.
I've been going back to all the other flat Earth debates, going through, starting from the first one all the way up to where we currently are. And the first time I heard this argument about latitude lines being measured was against what's his name, Bob the Science Guy, and it was on the 724 flat Earth debate, and I have the clip where Nathan said that these are not, they're only abstract, and they're only in the maps.
What
And Bob the Fallacy Guy was saying that they're not, they're measurements. I don't know if you remember that, but it was quite a while ago.
You got a show number?
724 around the 58 minute mark.
7:24, 58 minute. Okay, give me a minute.
Already.
Why are you digging that up? Did you say you started watching from the first one till now?
Yeah,
That's
I've been going all the way
dedication.
back. No, I absolutely love the show. I think it was weird because at the beginning, Nathan wasn't debating, and he was letting others debate and just hosting it. And I was like, and that was like, wow, it has completely done a 180 from where it started.
Is it 150? Sorry, 7:24 after show, or the live show on the second channel?
It definitely was in the whole the whole show.
Yeah, that's fine. And it's at the 50 what minute?
58.
56.
It might have 55.8.
55. Okay.
5'8".
58.
8.
58.
From England, then the Earth is a sphere. The Earth is a sphere because I cannot see the Southern Cross from England. Correct, Bob?
Nope.
No, that's what you said. You asked me if I could see the Southern Cross from England. I said no. Then you explained that the reason for that was because the Earth was a sphere, Bob. So absolutely yes. It's just yet another logical fallacy, Bob.
Nathan, it's evidence for a spherical Earth.
No, it's called an affirming the consequent formal logical fallacy. Not evidence for a sphere, evidence that you know how to formulate a fallacy.
Okay. How far?
Yeah, it's not okay. Another time that when I rip your argument to pieces, you go either or okay, or yeah, right, or no, Bob. That's your argument being handed back to you on a plate.
Laughing at you wouldn't be polite. So what I do is generally just say okay.
Okay, what? I'm correct. It is a formal logical fallacy known as affirming the consequent, as pointed out and detailed now on 3 separate occasions for this example you just gave us. Yeah, it is. That's okay. Yeah, correct. Right.
That's fine. Go ahead. Call it whatever you want.
And affirming the consequent formal logical fallacy. If P, then Q, Q, therefore P. The fallacy being that one doesn't necessarily follow the other. For example, if I eat 10 hamburgers, I am full. If P, then Q. If P, I eat 10 hamburgers, then Q, I am full. I am full, Q, therefore I ate 10 hamburgers. P. If P, then Q, Q, therefore P. The problem being that one doesn't follow the other. So asserting that just because I'm full means I've eaten 10 hamburgers is a fallacy, because I've actually eaten Chinese food. You asserting that because I can't see the Southern Cross, the Earth is a sphere, is a fallacy. Okay, Bob?
Spent a lot of time on.
Okay.
Whatever you say, Nathan.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Whatever you say. It was 123.
123.
Yeah, I think that's 124.
123.
Always 365
I'm sorry, I meant
days a year, yet they didn't even
723.
account for elliptical orbits. So
one more time.
So it was Flat Earth debate number 723, and it was from 58 to 59.
Oh, okay. So we're on show before. Okay, so we're on the wrong show. 723, and it's 54 to 59.
That was still a good clip. How'd you find that?
They're all
Yeah,
good.
it was.
All the shows are good. Right,
Yeah, that's
723. Uncut and
723,
After Show.
724. They're absolute gold. The whole thing. But yeah, I'm sorry, 723 and 59-minute mark. Because it goes from 58 to 59. So
Okay, I'll just wait for the advert to scroll through. 10 seconds. And this is Bob the Science Guy admitting that we're taking measurements off a flat Earth. We're just taking measurements. Okay, well, I guess we'll find out in a minute. Right, 57.49. Like that.
From the path of the sun, not a measured line. The equator's not a line, it's a concept. It's not a line that I've measured, you stupid Burke.
It's a line of latitude.
So they've already got this latitude. A latitude's also a concept, not a place you can go to. A concept.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a concept.
Can't define your location on latitude.
Do you want to show me a picture of a latitude line on Earth? Do you want to show me that?
It's on maps, you simpleton.
Oh, so it's not in reality then. It's a concept on a map, precisely like I've just pointed out then. So you're talking about going to concepts.
I can point you out exactly where it is. There's
on a map.
Sign that says
on a map. That's not a measured line. So you haven't measured a line on Earth because there isn't one. So it's a concept on a map. Yeah, every time I demolish your argument, you talk over me. Yet this would be ripping your argument to pieces, and all you can do when I do it is talk over me.
Nathan, your argument is that the lines of latitude are something that are painted on the Earth. That's
the opposite of what I'm saying. You're saying it's a measured line, and I'm saying no, there is no line.
All right, so you don't understand the concept.
So it is a concept then? Like I've just pointed out, I don't understand the concept when I am quite specifically pointing out that this is a concept and not a line that you can go and measure.
All right, do you know what a property...
Yeah, so now for a subject change. Yeah, asshole, that was the demolition of your argument. I did just crap all over it, and now you're not going to move past it. So, it is a concept, as I correctly pointed out. It's not a physical line that you go and measure. It is derived from a light in the sky.
That lines of latitude are painted on the Earth.
No, there is no lines of latitude on the Earth, you circle-jerking asshole.
All right.
Yeah, all right. Correct. I have indeed demolished your argument. You keep saying, all right, or maybe a little sigh every time it happens. It won't change that you're being obliterated, Bob, the non-science fallacy guy.
Nathan Oakley, I'm taking some notes here. Nathan Oakley thinks that lines of latitude have to be painted on the Earth.
No, that's not what I said. You said they'd measured a line on Earth. That was what you claimed. Now you're strawmanning me and misrepresenting what I've actually said. Another cheap trick from a pseudoscientist practitioner who has nothing but fallacy. Now you are misrepresenting what I have said. No, I have not claimed that latitude lines are painted on Earth. You declared it was a measured line. It's not. It's a concept that you keep talking over every time I point it out.
Nathan, you simpleton.
Oh, so now it's the ad hominems. No, I've demolished your argument. Ad hominem isn't actually addressing my rebuttal to your bullshit.
I am addressing your rebuttal.
What, by calling me a simpleton? No, that would be an ad hominem fallacy.
No, get off with your fallacies. That's the best you can do.
No, that's the best you can do. That's called projection. It's not I that's using fallacies here. It is you. So
he has said it's a measurement. Now, it's slightly cross purposes to what we talk about today, because we're talking about the line that the circle would represent on a map. Yeah? So if you take azimuthal equidistant projection, with North Pole being the centre point, then your latitude lines are concentric lines that move out from the centre point. Well, those lines I'm arguing with Bob about not being real, because they're conceptual. Now, today we'd describe them more accurately as the circles of equal elevation. Well, when you derive the circle of equal elevation from a flat Earth angle measurement to the star, that's the measurement, which I don't think Bob is claiming. I think he's saying latitude, the circle of equal elevation itself is measured, which is congruent with our current point. Shame I rumpused him.
Not claiming that I have the best in fallacies, but you, as the...
Was there anything else to that? Or was that it?
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, he's saying the measurements. You know, he's happy to concede it. I mean, there's going to be hundreds of these examples because for 10 years they've been telling us how they measure Earth flat to make their globe claims, and this is just yet another example. You know, he's saying, oh, no, I'm arguing with latitude on a globe and their measurements. That's what he's saying. So, yeah, good clip.
Yep, and this is kind of the same.
Yeah, we just weren't catching in the beginning, right?
Well done, Neil. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is the same tactic that we're getting from other flat Earth believers. To this day, if I go on other servers, that's one of the response is that these lines aren't abstracted and not real measurements, and so on and so forth.
Well, that's true. So the line along the ground is measured for the angle that you acquire in the first instance. From there on, you can derive various things from it. That's to say, you can calculate. But the measurement is the arbiter of what we derive these calculations from, and the measurement is the elevation angle measurement in this particular regard. Now, back then I didn't know that, but that's all it is. It's just an elevation angle off a flat baseline to Polaris. Had I have known then what I know now, I'd obviously have said welcome to flat Earth. I just didn't know what I didn't know.
Yeah, but I thought that was a great clip too.
Yeah, it was, yeah. Hello, Brian.
Hey, Nathan. Hey, everyone.
Hello. With that, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G+ panels for making today's after show possible. And, of course, a massive thank you to all of you in either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering streams. Hopefully smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, joining as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.